Let's
Yo,
start with Chapter
what's up,
1, the
everyone?
frequency of
Today
nothing
we're
theme,
asking a wild
disorientation,
question. What
grief,
if
the
Naruto
unexpected mercy of
reincarnated
darkness.
as
The
Toph
first thing
and
Naruto
mastered
Uzumaki
metal
noticed was that
release?
the world had
Bro
no
went from
sky. There was
shouting,
no blue above
"Believe
him,
it," to
no
standing
clouds
barefoot
drifting
like,
lazily over the Hawkish
"Relax, I
monument.
can hear your
No
ankles."
sunlight
No
pressing
cap,
against his
the Fire
eyelids,
Nation
no
is
wind
about to
carrying
get
the smell
cooked.
of ramen
Bossing
shops,
Say
training
is
grounds,
catching
river
aura
water,
points.
dust, and
And
leaves. There
Kurama
was
is
only
stuck
darkness,
wondering
not the
how
darkness
he
of night.
became a mountain
Night still had
fox.
shape.
So,
Night
hit
still had
like,
stars,
subscribe,
firelight,
and
moonlight, the
share,
silver edge of
because this
rooftops,
story
the
is
familiar
about to
shadows of a
eat.
village that had once hated him and later cheered his name. This was different, this was complete, heavy, endless. A darkness so total it felt less like the absence of light and more like the world had forgotten how to exist. For several long seconds, Naruto thought he was dead. Then he heard the heartbeat, fast, small, terrified. At first he assumed it belonged to someone nearby, some child crying in the dark. Some stranger trapped beside him in whatever strange place waited after the end of everything. But then the heartbeat quickened when his fear rose. It stumbled when he panicked. It thundered inside his ribs. Naruto tried to breathe. The breath came too small, too light. His chest rose, but not the chest he remembered. His lungs filled, but they were tiny. His fingers twitched, but they were short, soft, weak. A child's body, no, not just a child's body, a baby's body. His mind, ancient with war and peace and loss, crashed violently against the limits of flesh that had barely learned how to move. Naruto tried to sit up. Nothing happened. He tried to speak. A broken infant sound escaped him. The sound was so helpless, so wrong, that something inside him recoiled. He had faced gods. He had carried the hatred of a world inside his stomach. He had stood against Madara, Kaguya, Ishiki, pain, war, grief, and time itself. And now he could not lift his own head. Panic rose like fire. Naruto reached inward by instinct, searching for the vast furnace that had followed him through every stage of his life, Kurama. For one terrible second, there was no answer. No red eyes in a cage, no mountain-sized presence, no amused growl, nothing. Naruto pushed harder, Kurama. The darkness inside him stirred, not behind a seal, not behind iron bars, not in that familiar inner chamber flooded by shallow water, somewhere deeper, somewhere beneath the sternum. A voice answered, faint and rough, like stone grinding under miles of earth. I'm here. Naruto almost broke. Kurama's voice had never sounded small before, not once. Even weakened, even chained, even dying, the nine tails had always carried the tone of something too large for the world holding him. Now he sounded distant, compressed, buried. Naruto tried to reach him, tried to form words properly, but the baby's throat only made another helpless cry. Kurama felt his panic and answered before he could ask. We are somewhere else. The words were not spoken aloud. They passed through Naruto's mind like pressure through stone. Something happened to us, I don't know what. Naruto's panic sharpened. That was worse. Kurama not knowing was worse than any enemy. The fox had been there when Naruto was born. He had seen seals, souls, death gods, biju, dimensions, and monsters pretending to be men. If Kurama did not know where they were, then they were far beyond anything familiar. Naruto tried to remember. He remembered peace. That was the strange part, not a battlefield, not an explosion, not betrayal, not sacrifice, peace. He remembered sitting beneath a tree. Old hands resting on old knees, the village quiet around him, children laughing somewhere in the distance. The weight of years finally soft enough to carry. He remembered Kurama's presence, not inside a cage, not as a prisoner, not even as a partner in battle, but simply there. Like an old friend who no longer needed to announce himself, he remembered closing his eyes. He remembered thinking just once that maybe he had done enough. Then something pulled, not upwards, sideways, a tear in the world, a pressure without direction. Like falling through a door that had never been meant to open, and then darkness. Naruto's tiny hands curled in the blanket around him. Blanket, he registered it now, soft fabric, expensive, smooth against the skin, the smell of lacquered wood, jasmine oil, clean floors, incense. A woman's voice nearby, soft and trembling with relief. A man's voice, controlled, formal, proud. They were speaking a language Naruto somehow understood, not Japanese, not any tongue from the elemental nations. And yet his mind received it clearly, the way dreams sometimes translated things without explaining how. A daughter, the woman whispered. The man exhaled. A Beifong daughter. The name struck the air with weight. Beifong. Naruto did not know the word, but the room reacted to it. Servants shifted. Cloth rustled. Someone bowed. The man's heartbeat slowed into satisfaction. Naruto heard none of this through ears alone. That realization came slowly, because he could not see, but he could feel, not emotion, not chakra signatures, not killing intent. Feel, the floor beneath him was speaking. At first it was meaningless, a storm of pressure, rhythm, vibration, and distance. Footsteps became thunder. Breathing became pulses in the walls. The woman's shifting weight traveled through wood, down into stone, then up into Naruto's small body as a trembling line of information. The room had shape, not because he saw it, because it pressed itself into him. A bed, a table, 3 servants near the far wall, the mother seated beside him, the father standing near the doorway, a large open space beyond, stone foundation beneath polished wood, pillars, courtyard, garden, earth. So much earth, the information hit too fast. Naruto's infant body could not process it. His mind, trained by decades of war, tried to organize the sensations, but there were too many. Every motion in the estate became a shout. Every insect crawling across the wall became a spark of noise. Every footstep outside rippled through him. He screamed. The room erupted. The woman gathered him up, whispering comfort. The man called for a physician. Servants moved quickly, too quickly. Their footsteps struck the floor like hammers. Naruto screamed harder. Kurama's voice rumbled through him. "Stop fighting it." Naruto could barely think. "I can't see." "No," Kurama said, "but something else can." The woman rocked him gently. The motion sent waves through his body. Naruto's mind grabbed at them, desperate for control. He tried to shut the sensations out, but the earth did not stop speaking simply because he did not understand its language. The physician arrived. Old, careful footsteps. A cane, slight limp in the left leg. The man leaned over Naruto and made soothing noises while touching his face, his eyes, his head. The physician's fingers paused near Naruto's eyelids. The heartbeat changed. Naruto heard the silence before anyone spoke. Then the physician said gently, "My lord, my lady." The mother's breath caught. The father's voice hardened. "Say it." The physician swallowed. "The child is blind." The word entered the room like a dropped blade. Blind. Naruto had heard the word before, of course. He had known shinobi who lost eyes in battle. He had known men who gave up sight for power. He had known Dojutsu users who treated vision like inheritance, weapon, and curse. But this was not injury. There was no wound, no bandage, no enemy. This body had been born into darkness. The woman holding him began to cry quietly. The father did not. That was the first thing Naruto noticed about Lao Beifong. He did not cry. He went still, not grief still, calculation still. His feet planted carefully on the floor. His breathing slowed. His voice became soft in the way powerful men became soft when they were deciding how to control a problem. "My daughter," Lao said, "will be cared for." The physician bowed. "Of course, my lord. She will want for nothing, of course. She will be protected." There it was. Naruto did not understand the world yet, but he understood that word, protected. He had been protected. In an apartment with no family. He had been protected by adults who hid truth from him, until truth became a weapon in someone else's hand. He had been protected by cages, expectations, prophecies, seals, and smiling old men who believed suffering could be arranged into something useful. The baby's hand twitched. Kurama noticed. "Careful," the fox said. Naruto could not answer. He only listened to Lao Beifong's heartbeat, steady, controlled, already building walls. For the next 3 days, Naruto did not stop screaming internally. Outwardly, the child cried often enough that the household called her sensitive. That was the word they used, sensitive. The blind young miss was sensitive to sound, sensitive to touch, sensitive to strange rooms, sensitive to unfamiliar people. They were wrong. Sound was not the problem. The earth was. It told him everything and explained nothing. When servants crossed the hall, Naruto felt the pattern of their steps. When gardeners trimmed hedges outside, the vibration traveled through root and soil into the estate foundation. When birds landed on the roof, tiny claws became delicate scratches against the world. When rain fell, the garden transformed into a 1,000-point map of impact and motion. There was no silence, not even in sleep, especially not in sleep. Dreams brought memories of Konoha, of Hinata's gentle smile, Himawari's laughter, Boruto's stubborn eyes, Sasuke standing in doorways like a shadow pretending not to care. He dreamed of ramen steam, of orange sunsets, of old friends with older faces. Then he woke in darkness to a world that did not know his name. Naruto Uzumaki was gone. In this world, he was Toph Beifong, a blind, noble daughter, a fragile thing, a treasure to be hidden, a problem to be managed. Kurama watched from within, quieter than Naruto had ever known him. On the third night, when the estate finally settled and even the servants' steps faded, Naruto stopped resisting. It happened not because he became calm, but because he became exhausted. There was only so long panic could burn before it ran out of fuel. He lay awake in his cradle, tiny fingers curled, listening to the floor. At first, everything remained chaos. Then Kurama spoke. Pick one sound. Naruto's mind shifted weakly. What? One vibration, not all of them. One. Naruto would have laughed if his body had known how. That's your advice. You have better. Naruto did not, so he tried. He ignored the servants, ignored the wind, ignored the distant creak of wood, ignored his own heartbeat, though that was hardest. He searched through the trembling world until he found something small, a beetle, crawling along the outer garden wall. Its legs tapped against stone, 6 points repeating in uneven rhythm, tiny, meaningless, but clear. Naruto held onto it, the rest of the world blurred. The beetle moved 3 inches, paused, turned, continued. Naruto followed it. For the first time since awakening in this body, the darkness changed. It did not become light, it became distance, shape. The wall existed because the beetle touched it. The garden existed because the wall held it. The earth existed beneath both. Naruto followed the beetle until it vanished into a crack in the stone. When it disappeared, the world did not collapse. Naruto found another point. A servant sleeping 2 rooms away, shifting weight in a dream, then another. A drop of water sliding down a garden leaf and hitting packed soil, then another, his own fingers brushing cloth. Slowly, the storm became music, not gentle music, not beautiful, but patterned. Readable? Kurama said nothing. He did not need to. By dawn, Naruto had mapped the room, cradle, door, window, mother asleep nearby in a chair she had insisted on keeping close. A guard outside the hall, 2 servants at the far end, stone foundation below, garden beyond, darkness remained. But for the first time, it had edges. Months passed. The world called him Toph. Naruto learned to answer, not because the name felt like his, but because refusing would only create problems he was not yet strong enough to solve. And strength mattered. It always had. In his first life, Naruto had once believed strength meant being acknowledged. Then he learned it meant protecting others. Then he learned it meant enduring pain without becoming cruel. Then, much later, he learned that strength also meant choosing when to stop giving pieces of himself away. Now, trapped in a body too small to walk, he learned a new definition. Strength was patience, not the loud patience of waiting for a chance to prove himself. Real patience, silent patience, the patience of stone under pressure. Naruto listened. He learned the estate first. The Beifong mansion was enormous, but all large things became simple when broken into vibrations. Corridors had their own echo. Rooms had different floor densities. Servants moved with different rhythms depending on rank, mood, age, and fear. His mother moved softly, always careful near him. Her steps were light, hesitant, full of worry. She smelled of flowers and fine fabric. Her hands trembled whenever she held him, as if love itself frightened her because it had arrived in a form she had not expected. His father moved like ownership, heel first, controlled, measured. Never hurried unless angry, and even then he made anger walk at his pace. Naruto understood him more with each passing month. Lao Beifong was not evil, that almost made him worse. Evil men were simple. They wanted power, blood, immortality, revenge, worship, or fear. Lao wanted order. He wanted his home peaceful, his name respected, his daughter safe, his wife reassured, his servants obedient, his world predictable. And because Naruto had lived long enough to know better, he understood that men who worshipped order could build cages with clean hands and call them love. When Naruto began crawling, the estate changed. The servants panicked constantly. Every movement became danger to them. Corners were padded, doors were guarded, objects were moved. Soft mats appeared everywhere like the household was trying to wrap the entire world in cloth. Naruto hated the mats. They muffled the floor. They dulled the earth's voice. The first time they placed him on one, he sat motionless for 3 full minutes, then began crying with such focused rage that 3 servants nearly fell over each other trying to remove it. Kurama laughed, actually laughed. It was faint, rough, and brief, but it warmed something in Naruto's chest. That, Kurama said, was the most thing you've done since we got here. Naruto stopped crying immediately out of spite. Kurama laughed harder. By the time Naruto could walk, the estate had already decided what he was. Delicate, gifted in hearing, perhaps, strong-willed, certainly, but delicate. A blind daughter of the Beifong family could not run wild, could not climb trees, could not train, could not explore the city, could not be seen stumbling in public. She would be educated indoors, protected indoors. Displayed only when necessary, praised for grace, managed through comfort. Naruto accepted all of this with a calm that unnerved the household. He did not argue, he did not throw tantrums. He did not plead, that worried them more. A child who cried could be comforted. A child who raged could be disciplined. A child who listened silently while adults built the shape of her life around her was something else entirely. At age 4, Naruto attended his first formal dinner. He sat between his mother and an empty decorative space meant to prevent anyone from sitting too close to the young miss. The table was long enough to host a diplomatic summit, though only 6 people dined. Lao spoke with 2 local officials about trade routes, taxes, and stability in jailing. Naruto said nothing. He held his chopsticks incorrectly on purpose. A servant corrected him. He corrected the mistake, then listened. The officials were nervous around Lao. One tapped his fingers beneath the table whenever money was mentioned. The other shifted his left foot backward before disagreeing, as if preparing to retreat from his own words. Lao's heel tapped only once during the entire meal, when one official mentioned rumors of war movement near the outer provinces. Taps small, controlled, but Naruto heard it. Kurama did too. This world has war, the fox said. Naruto swallowed a mouthful of rice. Every world has war, optimistic as ever. Naruto almost smiled, then Lao turned his attention to him. Toph, Naruto lifted his face. Yes, father, the word tasted strange every time, not because Naruto had never had a father. He had learned Minato in fragments first, then in battle, then in grief. But Lao was not Minato. Lao's presence carried none of the warmth Naruto associated with the word. You have been quiet tonight. I am listening. The officials smiled politely. Lao's heartbeat slowed. To what? Naruto considered giving a child's answer. The plates, the servants, the walls, your foot when you are afraid. Instead, he said, everything. His mother's hand tightened slightly near her cup. One official chuckled, thinking it charming. Lao did not chuckle. That is a poetic answer, he said. Naruto lowered his gaze toward the table, though it made no difference. It is a true one. Silence followed, not long, but enough. Lao resumed the conversation. Naruto kept listening. That night, alone in his room, Naruto stood barefoot on the polished floor. He had learned that shoes were lies. Shoes dulled the world. They separated him from truth. The servants insisted on them. His mother encouraged them. His father required them in public, so Naruto removed them whenever he was alone. The floor was cool beneath his feet. Moonlight may have filled the garden outside, but Naruto would never know. What he knew was stone, soil, roots, the tiny shifting weight of night insects, the breath of sleeping birds. He pressed one small palm against the ground. Kurama stirred. What are you doing? Naruto did not answer immediately. For months, he had felt the earth. But feeling was not enough. In his first life, chakra had responded to will, to breathe, to emotion sharpened into direction. Later, with sage power, with Kurama, with 6 paths chakra, the world itself had answered him in ways no normal shinobi could understand. This body had no familiar chakra network, not exactly. Kurama had spent years studying it from within. Kai pathways, he called them, smaller than chakra coils. Softer, less violent, but real, and beneath those pathways, something else, a connection not learned, born. The earth was not merely beneath Naruto. It was waiting. He inhaled, slow, small lungs, small body, large soul. He pushed. Nothing happened. Kurama grunted. Again. Naruto pushed harder. Still nothing. The floor remained floor. The garden remained garden. The world remained unmoved. Frustration sparked. A familiar frustration. The kind that once made a lonely boy paint monuments and shout dreams at people who wished he would disappear. The spark traveled through him. The earth answered. A stone tile in the garden lifted half an inch. Naruto froze. The tile dropped. The sound was tiny to Naruto. It was thunder. Kurama went silent. Naruto's breath caught. He pressed both palms down now. Again. This time he did not shove. He listened first. The tile had weight. Shape, edges. It rested among other stones pressed into the garden path. Beneath it, soil. Beneath that, more compacted earth. Naruto did not command it. He matched it, breath to pressure, will to weight. The tile trembled, rose. 1 inch, 2, 3. Naruto's arms shook. Sweat formed along his brow. His body was too young. The pathways too narrow. The effort felt nothing like molding chakra for a clone or Rasengan. It was heavier, more physical. As if his intention had to pass through muscle, bone, breath, and ground all at once. The tile hovered for 3 seconds. Then fell. Naruto collapsed onto his backside. His hands trembled uncontrollably for a moment. Neither he nor Kurama spoke. Then the fox said quietly, "That was not memory from this body." Naruto stared into darkness. Kurama continued, "That was not instinct alone." Naruto's fingers curled against the floor. The stone beneath them felt warmer now, alive, though not alive. Present, waiting. Kurama's voice lowered. "That was yours." Naruto sat in the silent room, barefoot and shaking, and felt something inside him settle. Not happiness, not yet, not peace, but direction. The next morning, the servants found young Toph Beifong asleep on the floor instead of in her bed. Her shoes were missing, her hands were dusty. And in the garden outside, one tile sat slightly crooked in the path. No one noticed. Naruto did. For the first time since waking in darkness, he looked toward the future and did not feel trapped by it. The earth was not a prison, it was a vocabulary. And Naruto Uzumaki had always been a fast learner. Now the Chapter 2, Iron in the Blood theme, the discipline of silence. Learning to be a predator. 6 months after the first stone moved, the Beifong garden looked exactly the same. That was the point. To the servants who swept the pathways every morning, it was still a beautiful private garden designed for a noble family's quiet leisure. Stone paths curved between carefully trimmed shrubs. Pale flowers lined the walls. A small pond sat near the center, its surface disturbed only by fish, falling leaves, and the occasional breeze. To Lao Beifong, it was a tasteful display of wealth. To Toph's mother, it was a safe place where her blind daughter could sit beneath supervision. To the guards, it was another quiet corner of the estate. To Naruto, it was a training ground, not above the surface. That would have been childish. Above the surface, nothing changed. Below it, everything had. Naruto had spent half a year reshaping the garden in pieces so small no one noticed them. A pebble shifted half an inch one night. A root corridor widened beneath the soil the next. One stone slab loosened beneath its polished face while remaining perfectly still to the eye. A hidden pocket formed beneath the pond. A thin channel of compressed dirt ran beneath the western wall like a vein. The garden's foundation had become a lattice, a silent machine. Every piece connected to another. Every stone carried a stored direction. Every layer of earth had been pressed, folded, loosened, or reinforced until Naruto could activate the entire structure with one pulse from his foot. He had built training equipment without leaving evidence. It was, in Kurama's opinion, the most paranoid thing Naruto had ever done. Coming from Kurama, that was almost praise. "You used to solve problems by shouting at them," the fox said one morning. Naruto stood barefoot in the garden before dawn, small body still, face turned toward the eastern wall. The sky may have been changing color, he could not know, but the ground knew the temperature shifting. The insects knew, the stone knew. Naruto listened. "I got older," he answered silently. Kurama made a low sound. "No, you got sneakier." Naruto's mouth twitched. That was also true. He lifted one foot and set it gently against the ground. The garden answered. A pulse traveled beneath the path. Not loud, not violent. It passed through the hidden lattice like breath through lungs. Beneath the soil, 3 stone plates shifted into position, aligning just enough for Naruto to feel their edges sharpen in his awareness. He raised one hand. A pillar rose behind him, not fast, not dramatic. It emerged silently, earth compacting around itself as it climbed to the height of Naruto's shoulder. Its surface was dark and smooth from repeated pressure, not natural stone, not carved stone, chakra-laced stone. That was the term Naruto and Kurama had settled on after several failed names, most of which Kurama mocked immediately. Earthbending alone moved earth. Chakra alone could reinforce the body, create techniques, fuel impossible transformations, and shape energy into form. Together, they did something stranger. The stone remembered. That was the only way Naruto could explain it. When he used ordinary earthbending, the stone responded while he held it. When he stopped, it became normal earth again, heavy, passive, waiting. But when he threaded chakra through the movement, the stone changed. It compressed tighter than it should. It became denser. It held edges longer. It resisted impact after Naruto stopped actively bending it. At first, the difference had been small. Now, after 6 months, a simple pillar could take a hammer strike without cracking. Naruto knew because he had stolen a hammer from the toolshed and tested it. Kurama had laughed for 10 minutes. The servant blamed the missing hammer on a gardener. Naruto felt a little bad about that. Not enough to return it, he spread his fingers. The pillar split into 5 plates, each plate rotated around him, slowly at first, then faster. Stone whispered through air. The vibrations traveled down the plates, through the garden, into Naruto's feet, painting their position in his mind. 5 targets, 5 limbs, 5 thoughts, he breathed in. The plates shot outward. Before they struck the wall, Naruto snapped both hands down. The hidden lattice beneath the garden activated. 5 narrow earth spikes rose from the soil and intercepted the plates mid-flight. Stone hit stone. The impacts were muffled, absorbed by carefully prepared soft earth beneath the surface. No loud crash, no broken wall, no servant waking in panic. Naruto lowered his hands. The broken fragments sank back into the ground. The garden smoothed itself. By the time the first servant entered the outer corridor, everything was still. Naruto stood in the middle of the path, hands folded behind his back, expression blank. The servant paused. "Young miss," Naruto turned his face toward her. "Yes, you are awake early again. I like the garden." The servant's heartbeat softened. Poor child, Naruto could almost hear her thinking, blind young lady, lonely young lady, sweet young lady, if only she knew. The servant approached with careful steps. "Your mother will worry if she finds you out here alone." "I am not alone." The servant stopped. Naruto felt her eyes move around the garden. No one else was there. His face remained calm. "The ground is here," he said. The servant laughed nervously because adults often laughed when children said things they did not understand. "Yes, young miss, of course." Kurama sighed inside him. "You enjoy unsettling them." Naruto began walking back toward the house. "A little. You absolutely do. A little." The servant offered her hand. Naruto accepted it, not because he needed guidance, because people became less suspicious when you let them believe they were helping. That had been one of the first lessons of his new life. In Konoha, Naruto had fought to be seen. In jailing, he survived by allowing himself to be underestimated. The difference was annoying, useful, but annoying. Breakfast was held in the eastern dining room. Large windows lined one side. Naruto knew this because sunlight warmed that half of the room every morning. The table was smaller than the formal hall's table, but still large enough that a family of 3 could sit far apart while pretending to be close. His mother sat near him. Lao sat opposite. A servant placed food in front of Naruto and quietly described each item: rice porridge, steamed greens, fruit, tea. Naruto thanked her because politeness was another useful disguise. Lao unfolded a letter, paper texture. Thick, expensive. His heartbeat changed after reading the first few lines. Naruto noticed. Kurama noticed too. "Business?" the fox asked. Naruto kept his face relaxed. "No, politics." Lao set the letter down. "There will be guests next week." His mother's chopsticks paused. "From the city." "From several families." A careful answer. Naruto took a bite of porridge. His father continued. "It is important that the household present stability." There it was again, stability. Lao's favorite word after protection. His mother said softly, "Toph has been doing very well." Lao's attention shifted to Naruto. "I have heard." Naruto swallowed. He waited. Lao's voice remained smooth. "The servants say you walk the garden often." "Yes, without assistance. I know the garden." "You know the garden because it has been made safe for you." Naruto said nothing. The air tightened. His mother tried to soften it. She is careful, dear. She is a child. Naruto placed his spoon down, not loudly, just enough that ceramic touched wood with a precise sound. I am here, he said. Lao paused. Naruto turned his face toward him. If you want to speak about me, speak to me. His mother inhaled sharply. A servant at the edge of the room froze. Lao did not raise his voice. That would have been easier. Instead, he became very calm. You are young, Toph. Yes. You do not understand how dangerous the world is. Naruto almost smiled. Kurama rumbled in warning. Do not, the fox seemed to say. Naruto listened, mostly. No, Naruto said softly. I understand danger. Lao's fingers tapped once against the table. A single vibration controlled anger. Then you understand why rules exist. Naruto tilted his head. I understand why people make them. That was not the same thing. Lao heard the difference. His heartbeat hardened. For a moment, Naruto felt something old rise in himself. A stubborn fire. The urge to stand on the table and declare who he was. To shout that he had saved more people than Lao had ever met. That he had fought wars before this man's ancestors were dust. That he had carried a monster inside him and made him family. But that was the old Naruto, the loud Naruto, the Naruto who had needed the world to hear him. This world did not deserve that much of him yet, so he picked up his spoon again and continued eating. The conversation ended. But the argument did not. It simply sank beneath the floor, waiting. That evening, Naruto sat alone in his room while a music tutor played a stringed instrument and explained rhythm. The tutor believed this was education. Naruto treated it as seismic training. Every plucked string sent a tiny vibration through the instrument body, into the tutor's arms, down through her seated posture, into the floor. Naruto followed the path. Wood, bone, muscle, ground, everything touched everything. That was the secret adults kept missing. They thought blindness made the world smaller. For Naruto, the world had become impossible to ignore. When the lesson ended, the tutor praised his stillness. So attentive, she said. Naruto bowed politely. Kurama snorted. She thinks you were listening to music. I was. No, you were studying how to break her chair. Naruto did not answer, because he had been doing both. After the tutor left, Naruto waited. One servant passed, then another. His mother's footsteps approached, paused outside his door, then retreated. She often did that, came close, worried. Chose not to enter. Lao remained in his study, 3 guards along the western corridor, 2 near the front gate, kitchen staff active, garden empty. Naruto rose. He slid open the window, climbed out, dropped silently onto the narrow stone ledge below. Kurama stirred. You are aware you are 4 years old. Naruto pressed his bare feet against the outer wall. The stone told him where to place his hands. I've been older. That is not how bones work. Naruto ignored him. He climbed down slowly, using tiny earth shifts to catch his feet when needed. It was not graceful. His body was still too small for grace, but the wall wanted to help. Or at least, that was how it felt when he reached the garden. He exhaled. Freedom, even inside a cage, had a texture, cool stone, open soil, no shoes, no voices. He walked to the center of the hidden lattice and lowered both palms to the ground. Tonight was not for ordinary earthbending. Tonight was for fusion. Chakra was different in this body. Kurama had confirmed it again and again. Naruto's old reserves were gone. Or rather, unreachable in their original form. His soul remembered oceans, but this body held cups. Kurama had crossed with him, but diminished, compressed into something denser and quieter. His chakra did not flood outward like flame anymore. It moved slowly, heavily. Like molten pressure beneath a mountain. That made every attempt dangerous. Too much chakra and the Kai pathways cramped. Too much bending and Naruto's small muscles seized. Too much sensory input, and his mind blurred until the earth became screaming noise. So Naruto measured. He had developed percentages because Kurama liked precision when insulting him. 5%, Kurama said. Naruto inhaled. 5% chakra. 1 pulse of bending. He pushed. A circle of earth lifted around him, not high. Only a few inches, the soil compressed into a ring. Naruto held it for 10 seconds. His fingers tingled. Again, Kurama said. Naruto released. The ring sank. Again, this time 10% chakra. The earth lifted faster. The ring formed sharper edges. A hairline crack shot through one stone tile. Naruto winced. Kurama growled. You forced it. I know. Then don't. Naruto reset, again, 10%. This time, he did not command the earth upward. He let his chakra settle through the Kai pathway first, then guided the bending through it like water through a channel. The ring rose, smooth, dense, stable. Naruto reached out and touched it. The stone held, not because he was bending it, because the chakra inside it had changed its state, a memory, a shape. Kurama was quiet. Naruto smiled faintly. Then the entire garden jumped, not metaphorically. The ground bucked beneath him. A 10-foot radius erupted upward as the chakra threaded too deep into the hidden lattice and activated 3 training layers at once. Stone plates shot from the ground. Soil burst outward. The pond slapped against its edges. A decorative rock split in half. Naruto reacted before thinking. He dropped flat, slammed both palms to the earth and listened. Shockwave, outward, too loud. Servants would feel it. Guards would hear it. Lao would come. Naruto pushed against the vibration, not with force, with counterforce. He read the wave as it traveled through the lattice and sent smaller pulses into its path, breaking it apart, redirecting energy into the soft soil pocket beneath the pond. The garden shuddered, settled. Silence returned. Naruto remained on his knees, breathing hard. His hands shook so badly he could barely keep them pressed down. Kurama's voice came low. 15% is too much. Naruto coughed, noted. You nearly collapsed the west path. I stopped it. You caused it. I stopped it after causing it. That is not the victory you think it is. Naruto laughed silently. The sound hurt his chest. He rebuilt the garden before dawn. That was harder than destroying it. Destruction was easy. Even in this small body, even with limited reserves, it was always easier to break a pattern than restore one. But Naruto had not survived 2 lives by leaving evidence. He pressed soil back into place, fused cracks beneath the surface, rebalanced the decorative rock by turning the split side downward. The pond remained slightly lower than before, but only by a finger's width. A gardener might notice. A nobleman would not. By morning, Naruto was back in bed. When servants came to wake him, he pretended to be asleep. Kurama said, "You are becoming disturbingly good at lying still." Naruto kept his breathing soft. Practice. The fox did not answer immediately, then quieter. "You were never good at that before." Naruto knew what he meant. In their old world, Naruto had been movement, noise, momentum. When he hurt, he shouted. When he loved, he shouted louder. When he was afraid, he ran toward the fear and called it courage. Now he held still. Not because he had become calm, because stillness was the only way to hear everything. A week later, the guests arrived, 3 families, 2 minor officials, 1 merchant clan, all polished voices and careful footsteps. The Beifong estate transformed into performance. Servants moved faster. Floors were cleaned twice, flowers replaced, doors opened at exact moments. Musicians played in the receiving hall. Toph Beifong was dressed like a porcelain doll. Naruto endured it, barely. The robes were expensive and restrictive. The sleeves were too long. The collar sat too close to his throat. His hair had been arranged with pins that felt like tiny weapons against his scalp. Worst of all, the shoes were thick. He could feel almost nothing through them. The world became muffled, blurred, dead. His mother squeezed his shoulder gently. "You look beautiful," she whispered. Naruto did not care about beauty, but he cared about her tone. She was trying, always trying, trapped between love and fear and the rules of her world, so he said, "Thank you, mother." Her heartbeat softened. The guests entered. Naruto mapped them badly through the cursed shoes. Weight, height, steps, hidden tension. One man walked with too much confidence, probably wealth without combat training. One woman kept her balance centered. Dancer, maybe. A boy around Naruto's apparent age shifted impatiently, spoiled, bored. A teenage girl walked carefully around him, not with pity but curiosity, interesting. Lao presented Naruto with practiced warmth. "My daughter Toph." The guests made the expected sounds. "Poor thing, lovely child, such grace, so unfortunate, so brave." Naruto smiled politely and imagined dropping the floor 3 inches beneath all of them. Kurama encouraged him. "Just a little." "No, coward, strategist." Same thing with paperwork. The conversations continued for hours. Naruto stood, sat, bowed, answered simple questions, and allowed strangers to speak around him as if blindness had made him deaf and absent. Then came the boy, the impatient one. He approached during the garden viewing, when the adults were admiring imported stone lanterns. You really can't see anything, he asked. Naruto turned toward him. No. The boy leaned closer. How many fingers? Naruto felt the movement through air poorly, but his feet caught the shift in the boy's stance even through the shoes. 3. The boy froze. Naruto smiled slightly. Now 1. The boy's heartbeat jumped. How did you? You were loud. The boy stepped back. Good. Then he scowled. Children of powerful families did not enjoy feeling small. My father says your family keeps you hidden because you're useless. The garden went very still, not in reality, in Naruto. Something inside him cooled. Kurama did not laugh this time. The boy continued, encouraged by Naruto's silence. He says if you weren't a Beifong, nobody would bother with you. Naruto lowered his head. For one moment, old memories pressed against the inside of his skull. Whispers in Konoha. Demon brat, monster, dead last, stay away from him. Why does he even exist? He had thought age would dull those memories. It did not. It only made them quieter. Naruto took one step forward. The thick shoes blocked most of the garden's voice, so he slipped one foot out of the shoe. Bare skin touched stone. The world returned. The boy did not notice. Naruto felt everything. The boy's weight on his heels, the small decorative pebble behind his right foot, the loose soil beneath the path, the adults 20 feet away, Lao's attention still elsewhere. His mother turning slowly, perhaps sensing something. Naruto bent one toe. The pebble rolled. The boy stepped back, heel landing on it. His balance broke. Naruto lifted 2 fingers. The soil behind the boy rose half an inch, not enough to look like bending, just enough. The boy fell backward into a trimmed hedge, not hard, not dangerous, very undignified. Leaves exploded around him. The boy yelled. Adults turned. Naruto had already slipped his foot back into the shoe. His face was calm. The boy scrambled up, red-faced. She did that. Lao's footsteps approached. Did what? The boy pointed. She tripped me. Naruto tilted his head. I am blind. The sentence landed exactly as intended. The adults hesitated. The boy's father laughed awkwardly. Children are clumsy. The boy looked furious. Naruto looked innocent. Kurama was wheezing inside him. Terrible. The fox said, dishonorable, petty, perfect. Naruto kept his expression soft. Lao said nothing. But Naruto felt his father's attention remain on him for the rest of the afternoon. Suspicion had been planted. That was acceptable. Fear would come later. 3 days after the gathering, Naruto left the estate for the first time without permission. Not openly. Open rebellion was for people who needed witnesses. Naruto had no interest in being caught dramatically. He waited until market day when several servants left through the side gate carrying baskets. The gate opened for 17 seconds. Naruto knew because he had counted every week for 2 months. He wore plain servant clothes stolen from laundry, barefoot, hair tied simply, head lowered. At the exact moment the baskets blocked the guard's view, Naruto stepped into the group's rhythm and walked out with them. The city hit him like a storm. Jailing was louder than the estate in every possible way. Carts, animals, merchants, children, wheels grinding against stone, coins dropping. Doors slamming, people arguing, water sloshing in buckets, earthbenders moving construction stone somewhere to the east. Naruto stopped breathing for half a second. The seismic information was overwhelming. The estate was a pond. The city was an ocean. Kurama spoke immediately, one sound. Naruto focused. A cartwheel, wood rim, uneven rotation, slight crack on the left side. He followed it. The rest softened. Then he found footsteps, hundreds of them. Patterns layered over patterns. People walked differently when poor, rich, armed, tired, angry, hungry, afraid. Naruto had known that as a shinobi. Now the ground confirmed it with brutal honesty. The city was not chaos. It was a battlefield pretending to be a marketplace. Naruto smiled. This, he understood. He moved through the streets slowly, using a walking stick he did not need because people expected blind children to have one. When they saw the stick, they moved differently. Some gave space. Some stared. Some ignored him. Good. He reached the arena by following the densest cluster of excitement. Earth rumble. He had heard servants whispering about it for weeks. Illegal. Maybe embarrassing. Definitely popular. Absolutely. That made it useful. Naruto stood outside the entrance and listened to the crowd roar from within. Impact, stone platforms, heavy footwork. Earthbending used not as farming, not as construction, not as noble defense, but combat, crude combat, loud combat, but combat. A large man near the entrance blocked him. No kids, Naruto lifted his face. I'm not here to watch. The man barked a laugh. You lost. Naruto pulled a coin from his sleeve. He had stolen it from Lao's study, technically, borrowed, permanently. The man's laugh stopped. That gets you a seat. Naruto pulled another coin. The man shifted. That gets you a better seat. Naruto pulled a third. The man looked down the street, then back at him. You got a name. Naruto had considered this. Not Toph, never Toph, not Naruto. That name belonged to another world, he said. Stone Whisper. The man stared, then laughed, not mockingly this time. With a name like that, kid, you better either be very good or very funny. Naruto walked past him. I am not funny. Kurama made a sound. That is debatable. Inside, earth rumble was heat, sweat, noise, and dust. Naruto loved it immediately, not the performance. That part was ridiculous. The announcer shouted names as if volume created skill. Fighters stomped and posed. The crowd screamed. Coins changed hands. Insults flew faster than actual strategy, but beneath the stupidity, there was information. Naruto took a seat near the lower edge of the arena and placed both bare feet against the stone. 6 matches. He watched without eyes. The first fighter favored his right leg before every heavy strike. Predictable. The second overcommitted when angry. Easy to bait. The third had good balance but poor recovery after upward bending. The fourth used wide movements to impress the crowd, wasting energy. The fifth was better. Patient, low stance, strong center, but slow. The sixth was dangerous by local standards. He hit his opening movement well and attacked through delayed ground pulses. Naruto respected that enough to remember him. Kurama observed quietly. This world's bending has rhythm. Naruto nodded slightly. Yes, not hand signs, not chakra molding, more like stance and intent, and breath. Can you beat them? Naruto listened to the arena floor as 2 fighters clashed. Stone discs shot upward. A man jumped. The other twisted, sending a pillar across the platform. Could he beat them? With old Naruto's full power, this arena would have been dust. With this body at this age against adult earthbenders, not all of them, not directly, not yet, so Naruto answered honestly. Yes. Kurama snorted, of course. The 7th match was announced as an open challenge. The announcer's voice boomed. Any fresh meat brave enough to step into the ring. The crowd laughed. Naruto stood. The laughter died unevenly as people noticed him, small, barefoot, blind. The gatekeeper from outside cursed under his breath. The announcer leaned over the platform. A kid, Naruto stepped onto the arena floor. The stone beneath him was warm from previous matches. Good. What's your name? The announcer asked, clearly hoping this was part of a joke. Naruto faced him. The stone whisper, silence. Then laughter exploded through the arena. Naruto waited. He had learned long ago that laughter was often just fear before it understood itself. His opponent entered from the other side, large man, heavy steps, confident, not cruel, Naruto sensed. Embarrassed maybe. Uncomfortable fighting a child, but also unwilling to lose face in front of a crowd. Look, little girl, the man muttered, low enough that the audience could not hear. Just fall down quick, I won't hit hard. Naruto appreciated the attempt truly, so he decided not to humiliate him too badly. The bell rang, the man stomped. A low stone wave rolled toward Naruto, slow, obvious. Naruto stepped aside before it fully formed. The crowd quieted slightly. The man blinked. He stomped again, this time sending 2 pillars from either side. Naruto felt the kai move through his legs before the stone rose. Left pillar first by half a breath. Right pillar delayed. He ducked under the left, stepped onto the rising edge of the right, and let it lift him. The crowd made a confused sound. Naruto jumped down lightly. The man frowned. Now he was trying good. He drove both hands forward. 3 stone blocks launched at Naruto in sequence. Naruto did not dodge immediately. He listened. The first block was a distraction. Second carried force. Third was angled low to catch the feet. Basic combination. Naruto stepped toward the first block, not away. The move startled the man. Naruto placed one palm against the block as it passed, not stopping it, only touching. Chakra, 5%. The block's density changed mid-motion. It dropped faster than expected and slammed into the arena floor. The second block struck it and shattered. The third hit the fragments and broke apart. Dust rolled outward. Naruto walked through it. The man's heartbeat jumped. Naruto lifted one foot, one pulse. The The ground beneath the man's left heel softened, not collapsed, softened. His stance shifted. Naruto turned his hand. A small stone ridge rose behind the man's other foot. The opponent tried to recover. Too late. Naruto sent a narrow pillar up beneath his center of balance. Not violent, not enough to injure, just enough to lift. The man rose 2 feet into the air, arms windmilling, then dropped outside the ring boundary on his backside. The match had lasted 11 seconds, silence. Then someone laughed, not mocking, disbelieving. Then another person shouted. Then the arena erupted. The announcer stared at Naruto. Naruto turned and walked off the platform. No pose, no celebration, no speech. That confused them more than the victory. The gatekeeper caught him near the exit. What in the name of bad decisions was that? Naruto held out his hand. The man stared. What? Winnings. The man barked a laugh. Then he paid. Naruto left Earth Rumble with more coins than he had entered with, and the first useful combat data of his new life. Kurama sounded amused for the rest of the walk back. Stone whisper. Naruto moved through the marketplace, careful to avoid patrols. It works. It sounds like something a dramatic old man would call himself before losing to teenagers. Naruto almost tripped. Are you jealous? I am a tailed beast. I do not get jealous of terrible names. You wanted to pick one. I would have picked something better. Like what? Kurama paused. Earth Fang. Naruto stopped walking. No, Mountain Claw. Absolutely not. Demon Badger. Naruto nearly laughed aloud in the street. That one is so bad it almost becomes good. I know. They returned to the estate before sunset. No one noticed, or so Naruto thought. That night during dinner, Lao said, "You were difficult to find today." Naruto's spoon paused only for half a second, but Lao noticed. His father's heartbeat was steady, too steady. His mother looked between them. Toph. Naruto resumed eating. I was in the garden. Lao said nothing. A lie had been placed on the table. Everyone could see its shape. No one picked it up. After dinner, Lao dismissed the servants and asked Naruto to remain. His mother stayed too, hands folded tightly. Lao stood near the window. Jailing is not safe for a child alone. Naruto faced him. I know. Then you admit you left. I did not say that, his mother whispered. Toph, please. Naruto softened slightly at her voice, but not enough to surrender. Lao turned. You are clever. That is becoming clear. Naruto said nothing, but cleverness is not wisdom. That almost made Naruto smile. He had heard versions of that from Kakashi, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Shikamaru, Sasuke, and occasionally his own children. From them, it had meant something. From Lao, it sounded like control wearing a teacher's robe. You will not leave the estate again without permission, Lao said. Naruto set his cup down. What happens if I do? His mother's breath caught. Lao's voice lowered. You are my daughter. Naruto's hands rested on the table, small hands, child hands. Hands that had once formed Rasengan, held kunai, signed peace treaties, patted children's heads, buried friends, and touched Hinata's cheek for the last time beneath a setting sun he no longer remembered clearly. No, Naruto said softly. The room changed, not visibly. But beneath the floor, through posture and pulse and breath, everything sharpened. Lao stepped closer. What did you say? Naruto lifted his face. I am your child, he said, but I am not your possession. His mother made a small wounded sound. Lao went still. For the first time, real anger entered his feet, not loud, not uncontrolled, but real. You are 4 years old. Naruto almost said, no, I am not, but that truth had no place here. So instead, he said, then it should be easy to stop me. A terrible silence followed. Kurama's voice was low. Naruto. Warning, not fear, warning. Naruto listened to it. He had pushed enough for now. He stood from the table. I am tired. He walked toward the door. Lao's voice followed him. This conversation is not over. Naruto paused at the threshold. No, he said, it is not. Then he left. That night, the guards doubled. Naruto felt them take new positions along the corridors. One outside his window, 2 near the garden, 1 at the side gate. Lao thought he had tightened the cage. Naruto sat barefoot on his bedroom floor and listened to the new pattern. Kurama chuckled. He just gave you a security map. Naruto nodded. That was the problem with cages. The more carefully someone built them, the more clearly they revealed what they feared. Days became weeks. Weeks became routine. Naruto trained before dawn, listened during lessons, studied guards at night. Returned to Earth Rumble twice more under different routes, and won both matches quickly enough that rumors began forming. The stone whisper, the blind little fighter, the quiet one, the creepy one, the one who did not trash talk, the one who listened before moving. Naruto disliked attention, but attention had uses. Earth Rumble gave him fighters, fighters gave him data, data gave him progress, and progress led him beneath jailing. The discovery happened by accident. Naruto was meditating in the far corner of the garden, extending his seismic sense deeper than usual. Most of the time, he mapped surface movement, footsteps, roots, stone, water, insects. That morning, he pushed downward, past the garden's soil, past the foundation. Past old compressed layers of earth. At first, there was only pressure, then something answered differently, a line beneath the world dense. Cold, structured, not stone, not exactly, Naruto focused. The signal was faint, almost slippery. His seismic sense passed through ordinary earth easily, but this resisted him. It did not speak like soil or rock. It held itself in tighter patterns, crystalline, heavy, stubborn, iron. Naruto did not know how he knew. The body knew some of it. Toph's nervous system recognized minerals the way a tongue might recognize salt. But Naruto's mind gave the recognition shape. Ore vein, deep, rich, a skeleton under the city. His hands pressed harder to the ground. Kurama stirred. What is that? Naruto followed the vein. It stretched beyond the estate, beneath the outer road, toward the hills. Not pure metal, earth containing metal, stone carrying iron in its blood. Naruto whispered internally, I'm reading something. What? A language I didn't know existed. Kurama became very still. Naruto pushed chakra into his seismic sense. Carefully, 5%, the iron vein sharpened, the world changed. Suddenly, the earth was not one thing, it was layers of difference: clay, sand, root, granite, packed road dust, buried tools, coins in a servant's pocket, hinges in doors. Nails in beams, metal pins in hair. The iron taste of the world appeared everywhere. Naruto gasped, too much. The sensory flood struck like lightning. He saw without seeing, not images, structures. Every metal object within 30 feet became a hard point in his awareness. Then 50, then 80. His skull throbbed. Kurama snarled. Pull back. Naruto tried. The sense expanded instead, metal everywhere, in the walls, in locks, in jewelry, in tools, in weapons, in blood. For half a second, Naruto felt the iron inside living bodies as a faint red rhythm. That was too far. His nose began bleeding. Kurama shoved, not physically, not exactly. But the fox pushed his own heavy chakra across Naruto's pathways like a curtain dropping over a window. The metal sense vanished. Naruto collapsed forward onto the grass. His hands dug into soil. His breathing came fast. Kurama's voice was sharp. Idiot. Naruto coughed. Useful idiot. Dead idiot if you do that again. Naruto wiped his nose. His fingers came away wet. He smiled. Kurama went quiet then, with deep irritation. You're smiling. There's metal under the earth. Yes, I can feel it. Yes. If I can feel it, do not finish that thought. Naruto finished it anyway. I can bend it. Kurama growled. You do not know that. Naruto slowly sat up. No, he did not know, not yet. But the world had just opened a new door, and Naruto had never been good at leaving doors closed. That evening, Lao attempted his next move. It came disguised as kindness. A formal tea, private room, mother present, no servants except one at the door. Naruto knew immediately something was wrong because Lao's heartbeat was too prepared. His father began gently. You are growing older, Toph. Naruto was 4, apparently, in noble language. That counted. There are responsibilities attached to the Beifong name. Naruto held his teacup. His mother's heartbeat was anxious. Lao continued. Families like ours must consider the future carefully. Kurama said, I already hate this. Naruto listened. A household's strength depends on alliances, Lao said. Friendships, agreements, understandings between families. Naruto set the cup down. There it was, not marriage yet, not officially, a consultation, a future arrangement, a way to turn a child into a sealed document. His mother said softly, nothing would happen soon, of course. Naruto turned toward her. She flinched, though his face remained calm. Lao said, you need not worry yourself with details. Only understand that such matters are normal. Naruto had seen villages normalize child soldiers. Clans normalize hatred. Nations normalize revenge. Normal meant nothing. He slid off his chair. Lao frowned. Toph. Naruto walked to the center of the room. The floor was polished stone beneath a woven carpet. Annoying, he pressed one foot down. The carpet muffled contact. Naruto bent his knees slightly and pushed chakra into the stone beneath the fabric. 15%, risky, but controlled. A rectangular slab beneath the carpet rose. The carpet lifted with it. His mother gasped. The servant outside shifted. Lao stood. The stone slab rose to eye level between Naruto and his father. Not thrown, not cracked, held, steady, impossible. The slab remained floating for 4 seconds after Naruto removed his foot from the floor. Chakra, laced stone, remembered the command. Naruto turned toward the door. "I'll be in the garden." No one stopped him. Not Lao, not his mother, not the servant. Behind him, the slab dropped back into place with a heavy final sound. By the next morning, the estate had changed again, not openly. Lao was too controlled for open panic, but Naruto felt it. Guards became more careful, servants whispered less when he passed. His mother approached him with even softer steps. And Lao watched, not constantly, but enough. Good, Naruto thought. Let him watch. People feared what they did not understand, but they respected what they could not easily move. 3 nights later, Naruto returned to the garden and followed the iron vein again. This time, he did not expand outward. He went narrow. One thread of attention, one line down through soil and stone. Kurama hovered close, irritated but present. 5%, the fox warned. Naruto obeyed. 5% chakra, seismic sense sharpened. Iron appeared. Naruto did not try to bend it. He only listened. Metal was not silent. That was the first true lesson. People thought metal was dead because it did not shift like soil or breathe like living roots. But metal had memory, pressure lines. Heat history, shape stress. It held the story of how it had formed, how it had been struck, how it had cooled. Ore was easier than refined metal because ore still remembered Earth clearly. Naruto followed that memory. Iron inside stone, stone around iron, Earth carrying both, not separate, related. "Cousins," he pressed gently. The vein did not move, his head throbbed. He pressed again. "Nothing," Kurama said, "enough." Naruto stopped, not because he wanted to. Because Kurama was right, for now, progress did not need to be loud. In fact, loud progress was usually bad progress. That had taken him 2 lifetimes to learn. The following week, Naruto fought again at Earth Rumble. His opponent was faster this time. A woman with sharp footwork and excellent timing. She used narrow strikes from odd angles, forcing her targets to react late. Against ordinary fighters, she would have been dangerous. Against Naruto, she was a lesson. He did not defeat her immediately. He let her move, let her attack, let her show him everything. The crowd shouted as stone spikes snapped toward him. Naruto shifted between them, small body turning just enough each time. One spike cut his sleeve. Another brushed his hair. Kurama growled, "Are you studying or showing off?" "Studying. Those are often the same with you." The woman changed rhythm. Good. She feinted left and struck from below. Naruto smiled, then he ended it. One palm down. A ring of dense stone rose around her ankles, not tight enough to injure. Too dense to break quickly. She tried to bend it apart. It did not move. Chakra, laced stone. The announcer counted her out while she cursed loudly enough to make several adults cover children's ears. Naruto bowed to her. She stopped cursing. For some reason, that made her angrier. The crowd roared. The stone whisper had become real. Rumors spread faster after that. A blind fighter. A child prodigy, a spirit, a trick, a noble runaway, a bad omen. Naruto ignored most of it, but rumors had gravity, and gravity pulled attention. One night, after slipping back into the estate through the side wall, Naruto felt someone waiting in his room, not a servant, not Lao. The weight was too light, his mother. She sat near the window, still, hands folded. Naruto entered and closed the panel behind him. Neither spoke for a moment. Then she said, "Where do you go?" Her voice did not accuse, that made it harder. Naruto stood barefoot on the floor. He could lie. He was good at lying now, but she had waited alone in the dark for him, so he gave her part of the truth. "Where I can learn." Her breath trembled. "You are not safe outside." "No." "Then why?" Naruto lowered his head. "Because cages are worse. Because the world is bigger than this house. Because I have already lived one life being turned into what other people needed. Because if I let your husband decide what safety means, I will disappear." He said none of that. Instead, he answered, "Because I need to know what I am." His mother made a soft sound, not understanding, but hurting. "You are my daughter." Naruto closed his eyes out of habit. The darkness did not change, I know. She stood and crossed the room. Her steps were careful. She knelt before him and touched his face. Naruto allowed it. Her fingers were warm. You frighten your father. Naruto almost said good. He did not. Instead, he asked, do I frighten you? Her heartbeat changed. Honest fear, honest love, honest grief. Yes, she whispered. Naruto accepted that. It hurt less than he expected. She hugged him. He stood stiffly for a moment, then slowly raised his small arms and hugged her back. Kurama said nothing. For once, he let the silence remain untouched. When she left, Naruto sat awake until dawn. The earth hummed beneath him. The iron vein waited. Lao watched more closely. His mother worried more quietly. Earth rumble grew louder. Kurama became heavier inside him, less like a flame and more like a mountain sleeping beneath his ribs. And Naruto learned. He learned that bending was not jutsu. Jutsu imposed structure through technique. Bending negotiated movement through relationship. He learned that this body was not weak. It was young. There was a difference. He learned that blindness was not emptiness. It was too much fullness, waiting to be organized. He learned that silence could be sharper than shouting. And beneath jailing, inside the dark mineral lines of the earth, he learned that metal was not separate from stone. It was stone with a different memory. On the final night before everything changed, Naruto stood in the garden alone. Rain fell lightly. Each drop struck the world as a tiny note. He pressed both feet into wet stone. The hidden lattice answered. The iron vein below answered, too faint, stubborn, distant. Naruto extended one hand. A small pebble rose from the path, ordinary earth. Easy. He closed his fingers. Chakra moved. The pebble compressed until it became darker, denser, almost metallic under pressure. His hand shook. Blood warmed his upper lip. Kurama's voice came softly. Stop. Naruto held it 1 second longer, then released. The pebble dropped. It struck the stone path with a sound too heavy for its size. Naruto wiped his nose. He was not ready, not yet, but he was close. Far beneath the garden, iron slept in the blood of the world. Naruto could feel it now. Not clearly, not fully. But enough. Enough to know that the walls around him were temporary. Enough to know that Lao Beifong's locks, gates, guards, and rules were all built from things the earth had once owned. Enough to know that one day soon, he would not merely move stone. He would reach into the skeleton of the world and make it answer. Kurama stirred beneath his ribs. You are thinking something reckless. Naruto smiled faintly into the rain. No, the fox did not believe him. Naruto pressed his palm to the ground. I am thinking something inevitable. The garden trembled once, softly like the earth itself had heard him, and deep below jailing, iron listened. Here we go, Chapter 3, the first metal theme, the birth of something unprecedented. The crossing of a threshold that cannot be uncrossed. By the time Earth Rumble VI arrived, the stone whisper was no longer a joke. At first, the name had made people laugh. A blind little girl stepping into an underground fighting ring with bare feet, quiet hands, and no dramatic pose. It sounded like a comedy act before the real fighters came out. The crowd had expected embarrassment. Then the first opponent had fallen in 11 seconds. The second had been trapped ankle, deep in stone before he finished his opening stance. The third had thrown 3 boulders, only for Naruto to redirect the floor beneath him and make him knock himself out against his own rising pillar. After that, people stopped laughing. Not completely, of course. Earth Rumble crowds were not built for silence. They needed noise the way fire needed air. If they were not cheering, they were booing. If they were not booing, they were gambling. If they were not gambling, they were insulting someone who could probably fold them into a wall. But when the stone whisper stepped into the ring now, the laughter came slower, more careful. People still joked. They just did it after checking where she was standing. Naruto found that acceptable. Fear was not his goal, but respect was useful. And confusion was even better. Confused enemies wasted time explaining you to themselves. Naruto had learned that across 2 lives. In his first life, people had looked at him and seen a loud orphan, a failure, a Jinchuriki, a hero, a weapon, a Hokage, a symbol. Almost never a person. In this life, they looked at him and saw a blind girl, small, barefoot, too calm. They were wrong again. But this time, Naruto did not correct them. He weaponized the mistake. The arena beneath jailing shook with noise. Earth Rumble VI had drawn a larger crowd than usual. More fighters. More gamblers, more merchants pretending they were only there out of curiosity, more noble sons hiding behind cheap cloaks so their families would not discover where they spent their evenings. The air smelled of dust, sweat, fried food, cheap perfume, and money changing hands. Naruto sat near the edge of the fighter holding area, legs crossed, palms resting loosely on his knees. His eyes were open but unfocused. He did not need them. The arena floor told him everything. 14 fighters, 2 healers near the west tunnel. 3 announcers, though only one did most of the shouting, 7 guards. A man in the upper stands with a hidden knife in his boot. Another with coins sewn into his belt. 2 children sneaking beneath the lower benches. 1 rat near the food stall. The boulder standing near the far entrance, flexing for the crowd. Naruto's attention settled there. The boulder was famous, not in the way Cage were famous, not in the way war heroes were famous. He was famous in the way performers became famous, through volume, confidence, repetition, and a name simple enough for drunk people to shout. He was large, strong, heavy in the feet. His stance was wide, stable, and theatrical. He used his arms too much when bending, not because he needed to, but because the crowd liked seeing motion. Still, beneath the performance there was skill. Naruto did not dismiss him. That was another lesson age had carved into him. Only children underestimated clowns. A clown who survived long enough to become famous had probably learned where to hide the knife. Kurama stirred beneath Naruto's ribs. He is loud. Naruto's mouth barely moved. He wants to be. Does that make him dangerous or annoying? Both. Kurama gave a low, amused rumble. The announcer's voice blasted across the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, stompers and stonebreakers, welcome to Earth Rumble 6. Tonight, we've got champions, challengers, disasters waiting to happen, and one tiny blind menace who keeps ruining everyone's betting sheets. The crowd roared. Naruto sighed. Kurama laughed quietly. I like him. You like anyone who insults me? Yes. The announcer continued. And later tonight, if the spirits are kind and our insurance man stays unconscious, we may finally see what happens when the stone whisper faces the boulder. The crowd exploded. The boulder raised both arms. The boulder is ready, he shouted. Naruto tilted his head. Kurama went silent for a moment, then he said, if you ever speak about yourself like that, I will destroy us both. Naruto almost smiled, agreed. The early matches began. Naruto did not fight immediately. That was deliberate. He had learned to delay his matches when possible. Watching fighters before facing them was more useful than rushing into the ring. Every earthbender had a signature, not chakra signature, not killing intent, something more physical. A way their weight entered the ground. A way their kai gathered before movement. A way their fear affected balance. The arena was a book, and every fighter wrote in it with their feet. The first match was crude. 2 heavy benders slammed pillars into each other until one ran out of breath. The winner relied on strength and stubbornness. Useful in a mine collapse, predictable in combat. The second match was better. A lean fighter used angled plates to redirect attacks rather than blocking them directly. Naruto watched closely. That technique had merit. With chakra reinforcement, angled stone could become nearly unbreakable without requiring much mass. The third match was a disaster. A young man tried to impress the crowd by spinning on a raised platform while launching stones in all directions. One stone almost hit the announcer. The announcer called him a crime against choreography, and the crowd booed him out. Naruto ignored the noise. His focus remained on the boulder. For 2 hours he listened, not just to footsteps, to breathe, to rhythm, to the moment before movement. The boulder fought twice before their match. Both times he won easily. He had a habit of stomping harder than necessary before large attacks. He shifted his right shoulder before raising stone from the left. He preferred overwhelming force and arena control. Against smaller fighters, he advanced steadily, reducing space until they panicked. But there was something else. When pressured, his center dropped. The performance faded. His stance became less flashy, more compact, more real. That interested Naruto. The boulder was not merely a showman. He was a fighter pretending to be simpler than he was. Naruto respected that, a little. Finally, the announcer screamed the matchup. The moment you've all been waiting for. In this corner, the loudest mountain with legs, the man, the myth, the muscle, the boulder. The boulder stomped into the arena to thunderous applause. The boulder appreciates your appreciation. The crowd loved that. Naruto stood. His bare feet touched the arena floor, everything sharpened. And in the other corner, the announcer continued, voice lowering dramatically. The tiny terror of silent beatdowns, the barefoot bad omen, the reason grown adults now fear quiet children, the stone whisper. The crowd's roar changed, not louder, tighter, curious. Some cheered, some booed, some shouted warnings. A few gamblers cursed because Naruto's odds had become impossible to trust. Naruto entered the ring. The boulder looked down at him. For all his shouting, his heartbeat was steady, good. He was taking this seriously. The boulder does not enjoy fighting children, he said under his breath. Naruto faced him calmly. Then don't treat me like one. The boulder paused, then his stance shifted lower, centered. The performance did not vanish completely, but it stepped aside. The boulder can respect that. The bell rang. The boulder moved first. He stomped hard, both arms rising. The arena floor buckled as a wide stone wave surged toward Naruto. The crowd screamed. Naruto did not dodge immediately. He stepped forward. Kurama's voice sharpened. Careful. Naruto listened through the wave, not to the surface, to the force beneath it. The boulder was testing him. The wave looked broad and messy, but its true force sat in the middle left ridge. If Naruto dodged right, the boulder could follow with a rising wall. If Naruto jumped, a pillar would catch him midair. Good opening. Naruto bent his knees. The wave reached him. He touched it with one foot. 5% chakra, not enough to overpower, enough to read. Impact traveled through his leg, up his spine, into his skull. He felt the boulder's force inside the stone, felt how it had been shaped, where it was strongest, where it would break. Then he turned sideways and stepped into the weakest seam. The wave split around him. The crowd went quiet for half a breath. The boulder's heartbeat jumped, then he grinned. The boulder sees you, Naruto almost corrected him. The boulder slammed both fists downward. 4 pillars burst from the arena floor around Naruto, boxing him in. Simple containment, too simple. Naruto stepped onto one rising pillar before it finished forming. His body lifted with it. He twisted, using the movement like a springboard, and dropped outside the formation. The boulder was already waiting. A stone gauntlet formed around his right fist. He closed distance faster than his size suggested. The punch came low, aimed not at Naruto's head but at the platform beneath his feet. A ring-out setup. Break the floor, force him to stumble, then push him out. Naruto allowed it to land. The stone gauntlet slammed into the ground beside him. The arena shook, dust exploded upward. The crowd shouted. Naruto felt the entire kinetic vector pass through the floor. There, that was why he had taken the hit. Power had direction, even huge power. Especially huge power. The boulder's strike traveled forward and downward, expecting the floor to crack and collapse. Naruto caught the shockwave through seismic sense, wrapped chakra around a thin line of stone beneath it, and redirected the force sideways, not back at the boulder, under him. His left foot lost stability, only for a moment, but a moment was enough. Naruto lifted 2 fingers. The platform beneath the boulder sank 3 feet. The boulder dropped with it, knees bending hard to absorb the shift. At the same time, Naruto raised his own platform 2 feet. The arena floor transformed into uneven territory. The boulder stood lower, Naruto stood higher. Technically, the boulder had not left the ring, but Earth Rumble rules cared about platform dominance, not dignity. Naruto raised one hand, palm outward. The stone around the boulder's sunken platform folded inward, not trapping him, but clearly marking the boundary. The message was simple: move wrong and you wring yourself out. The boulder stared, then laughed, a deep, surprised laugh. The boulder has been out-bouldered, the crowd exploded. The announcer nearly lost his voice. Did she just sink the boulder? Can you legally do that? I don't know, but I'm afraid to tell her no. Naruto lowered his hand. The match was declared his victory, not by knockout, not by injury, by technical control, exactly as planned. The boulder climbed out of the sunken platform and looked at Naruto with new weight in his stance. No mockery now, no performance. You could have hit me with my own force. Naruto nodded once. Yes. Why didn't you? Naruto turned toward the exit. I wasn't here to hurt you. The boulder frowned. Then why were you here? Naruto paused. The arena was loud around them, but for a moment the question reached something quiet inside him. Why was he here? Not for glory, not for money, though money was useful, not to prove himself to strangers. He had done enough of that in one life. I wanted to know if I could, he said. The boulder did not answer. Naruto walked away. Kurama was silent until they reached the fighter tunnel. Then the fox said, "That was disgustingly mature." Naruto leaned against the stone wall, letting his breathing settle. Was it? You fought a man named the boulder and chose restraint. I hate it. Naruto's mouth twitched. You told me to be careful. I did not tell you to be noble. Naruto wiped dust from his sleeve. I wasn't noble. No, that was true. He had not spared the boulder because of mercy. He had spared him because there was no point wasting force. That thought would have bothered the younger Naruto. The old Naruto simply accepted it. Power did not need to announce itself every time it entered a room. Sometimes it only needed to leave the room changed. After the match, Naruto did not leave the arena immediately. He slipped into a supply room behind the lower tunnel while the crowd remained distracted by the next bout. He had found the room weeks ago. It smelled of dust, oil, old leather, and metal. That was why he had chosen it. Crates lined the walls, broken helmets, bent belt buckles, discarded metal plates, or samples used by fighters for weighted training. Tools, hinges, chains, nails. To most earthbenders, the room was full of useless hard objects. To Naruto, it had become a question. He closed the door. The noise of the arena dulled. He sat in the center of the floor and placed a chunk of iron ore before him. It was ugly, heavy, unrefined, perfect. Kurama immediately understood. No. Naruto placed both palms on the ore. Kurama's voice deepened. Naruto, I know. You do not know. That is the problem. Naruto breathed slowly. The iron ore sat against his skin like a stubborn silence. He could feel the earth in it, not clearly like stone, not softly like soil, but it was there, trapped in the metal's structure, old, compressed. Remembering heat, pressure, formation, extraction, bending had rules in this world. Earthbenders could not bend metal. That was what everyone believed, because metal was refined, because metal was no longer earth, because people mistook difficulty for impossibility. Naruto had known people like that too. They said dead last stayed dead last. They said Jinchuriki could only become monsters. They said hatred could not be broken. They said peace was childish. They said a lot of things. Naruto pushed. Nothing happened. Kurama said, "Good, we are done." Naruto ignored him. He narrowed his focus. Not the whole ore, not the metal, the impurities, tiny grains of earth hidden inside the iron, trace minerals, uneven structures, microscopic flaws, the parts that had never fully stopped being stone. There, he felt one, then another, then dozens. The ore became a night sky with buried stars. Naruto's breath caught. He pushed chakra through his palms. 10%. Pain shot up his arms. His Kai pathways cramped instantly. Kurama growled. Too much. Naruto reduced. 7%. The pain became pressure, manageable. He did not bend the metal. He bent what the metal still carried. The impurities shifted, barely. The ore clicked, a tiny sound. But to Naruto, it was louder than the arena outside. His hands trembled. He pressed deeper. The ore resisted, not like an enemy, like a locked door. Naruto smiled faintly. He knew locks. Locks were just invitations from people who believed they owned the way through. He pulled. The ore shuddered. Kurama went utterly still. Naruto felt the structure inside the iron loosen, not melt, not break, rearrange. A corner of the ore bent inward like wet clay. Only a finger's width, only for a moment. Then the entire chunk snapped back and Naruto's nose began bleeding. Pain exploded behind his eyes. He fell forward, catching himself on one hand. Kurama's chakra surged inside him, heavy and dark, wrapping around the overloaded pathways before they tore. Stop, Naruto coughed, blood dripping onto the floor, but he laughed, not loudly, not with joy, with disbelief, with victory, with the terrible, quiet understanding that the world had just become much larger. Kurama said nothing. For once, the fox had no insult ready. Naruto reached out again. His fingers touched the ore. The bent corner remained slightly warped, permanent. The metal had moved. The room felt different now. Not because anything visible had changed, because a law had died. Naruto whispered, "Nobody in this world has ever done that." Kurama was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "No." His voice was low, not frightened, not proud, something between the two. "No, they haven't." Naruto wiped blood from his lip with the back of his hand. "I can do it again. You can pass out again. I can do it better. You are bleeding from your face. That happens. It should not be part of the method. Naruto leaned back against a crate and closed his eyes. The darkness remained, but now it was full of metal. Every nail in the room, every hinge, every buckle, every chain, all of them no longer walls, questions. Kurama sighed. You are going to become unbearable. Naruto smiled. I learned from you. Do not blame me for your terrible life choices. The arena roared outside as another fighter won. No one knew what had happened in the supply room. No one knew that a blind child had just touched the edge of something impossible. No one knew that the first metalbender had been born in dust and blood behind an illegal fighting ring. That was fine. Naruto did not need witnesses. Not yet. The next 3 weeks became obsession. Careful obsession. Measured obsession. Kurama insisted on that. The first attempt had nearly burned Naruto's pathways raw. His body was still too young, and metal demanded a level of precision that ordinary earthbending did not. Stone could be moved with force. Metal required listening inside the force. So Naruto trained in fragments: a nail, a buckle, an ore chip, a thin strip from an old tool. He stole small pieces from storage rooms, market stalls, discarded crates, and once from a decorative frame in Lao's outer office. That last one had been petty. Naruto admitted this. Kurama approved anyway. Each night, Naruto sat in the garden and practiced. The hidden lattice now had a new chamber beneath the pond, sealed from surface vibration. Naruto used it to muffle failed attempts. The failures were many. Sometimes the metal refused to move. Sometimes the impurities shifted, but the whole object cracked uselessly. Sometimes Naruto pushed too hard and sensory static flooded his skull until he vomited into the grass. Sometimes Kurama forcibly cut off the chakra flow and lectured him for 20 minutes. Naruto endured the lectures because Kurama was usually right, annoying but right. The breakthrough came on a rainless night. Naruto sat cross-legged with a small lump of iron, rich ore in front of him. He had been thinking about the Rasengan, not because he could use it properly in this body. Not yet. The Rasengan was not merely chakra spun into a sphere. That was how children described it. The true technique was compression, rotation, containment, and release, shape without hand signs, power held in motion. What if metal could be approached the same way, not as a solid object to bend? As particles waiting to be separated, Naruto placed both hands around the ore without touching it directly. Kurama sensed the change in his thinking. What are you doing now? Remembering. That has never ended safely. Naruto ignored him. He extended seismic sense inward. Ore, iron, earth traces. Crystal structure, stress lines. Instead of pulling the whole piece, he twisted pressure through it, not physically, spiritually, seismic force from below, chakra pressure from above, rotation through the center. The ore trembled. A crack appeared, then another. Kurama's voice sharpened. Naruto. The ore collapsed inward, not into chunks, into powder. A dark cloud of iron filings rose from the ground. Naruto froze. The cloud hovered in the air, trembling in a loose sphere between his hands. Each particle was tiny, too tiny for ordinary bending. But not too tiny for seismic sense fused with chakra. Naruto could feel all of them, not individually, together, like a second nervous system made of knives. Kurama was silent. The iron sand drifted outward. Naruto lifted one finger. The cloud followed. He moved his hand left. The cloud flowed left. He closed his fist. The cloud compressed into a needle-thin line. He opened his hand. It spread into a veil. Naruto's breathing quickened. Too much excitement. Bad for control. He forced himself calm. The iron sand circled him once, slow. Then faster. It whispered through the air. A dark ring around a blind child sitting barefoot in the garden. Kurama finally spoke. That is new. Naruto nodded. His head already hurt. How long can you hold it? Kurama asked. Naruto measured the drain, chakra falling fast, Kai pathways hot, seismic sense stretched thin. Maybe 1 minute. Then stop at 30 seconds. Naruto held it for 45. Kurama called him an idiot. Naruto deserved that. When he released the technique, the iron sand fell in a soft circle around him. His hands shook. His nose bled again. But less this time. Progress. Over the next weeks, iron sand became Naruto's first true weapon in this world. Not earth, not stone, metal. At first, he could only control a handful, then a pouch, then enough to fill the air around him in a 10-meter radius. The cost was brutal. 30% of his available reserves per minute, unsustainable in prolonged combat, dangerous if combined with heavy earthbending, but devastating within its window. Iron sand did not move like stone. Stone was honest. It rose, fell, blocked, struck. Iron sand was deceptive. It flowed through gaps, wrapped around wrists, cut straps, blinded opponents, slid into seams, stripped bark from trees without touching the wood beneath, formed needles, wires, shields, blades, cages, and false terrain. Naruto practiced on leaves first, then branches, then moving targets. He would toss pebbles into the air and slice only their outer layer before they hit the ground. He would send the sand through the garden lattice and retrieve coins from under floorboards. He once removed every pin from a servant's laundry basket without disturbing the cloth. Kurama called this training. Naruto called it precision. Both were true, but power had consequences. The first time Naruto extended iron sand too far, his seismic sense blacked out for 3 minutes. Complete darkness, not ordinary darkness. He was used to that. This was worse. No floor, no shape, no vibration. Nothing. A sensory void. Naruto sat frozen in the garden, unable to tell where the ground ended and his body began. Kurama stayed close. "I am here." Naruto did not answer. His breath came short. Naruto. The old name grounded him more than the earth could. "I'm here," Naruto said. The sense returned slowly, like sound after being underwater. First his heartbeat, then his hands, then the floor, then the garden. He did not train again that night. After that, they created rules. Iron sand for 1 minute maximum, no more than 30% chakra without Kurama's approval. No metal sensing through living bodies, no combining iron sand with deep seismic range, no training after emotional disturbance. Naruto disliked the last one. Kurama insisted. "You are at your stupidest when upset," Naruto argued. Kurama listed examples from his first life. Naruto stopped arguing. The rules made him stronger. He hated that too. Meanwhile, Lao Beifong tightened the estate, not openly. He was too refined for chains. Instead, he added lessons. More tutors, more supervised walks, more servants assigned to Toph's comfort. More conversations about propriety, safety, family responsibility. Naruto responded with perfect politeness, which made Lao more nervous. A disobedient child could be punished. An obedient child who still felt dangerous was much harder to understand. Then came the locks. New locks on garden gates. New bolts on side doors, metal reinforcements on windows, a stronger latch on Naruto's bedroom. Lao believed he was adapting. Naruto almost admired the effort. Almost. The night after the final window latch was installed, Naruto stood in the center of his room and listened to the estate. Everyone asleep, mother restless, Lao awake in his study, guards rotating, rain outside. Good cover. Naruto reached into the pouch hidden beneath his mattress and released a thin stream of iron sand. It moved silently across the floor, under the door, into the hallway. The latch on his bedroom door was new, steel around an iron core with a simple sliding mechanism. To an ordinary earthbender, it was untouchable. To Naruto, it was loud, every impurity inside it. Every pressure line from forging. Every point where metal met wood, the iron sand entered the seam. Naruto closed 2 fingers. The latch opened, not broke, opened. He stepped into the hall. The guard outside did not hear. Naruto moved barefoot through the estate, 1 lock at a time, side doors, garden gates, storage rooms, servant passages, window bolts, iron hinges, copper fixtures. Decorative metalwork. He did not destroy them. Destruction would have been crude. He removed them, methodically, silently. Iron sand entered seams, loosened screws, bent pins, slid bolts free, peeled metal from wood and stone without splintering the frame. Every piece came with him. The estate slowly lost its teeth by dawn. Naruto had gathered every accessible lock, bolt, latch, hinge pin, and copper fixture into a single pile in the central courtyard. Not a messy pile. A sculpture. A spiral of metal arranged around a folded iron butterfly. The butterfly had taken 20 minutes. Kurama had mocked him for 15 of them. "You are making art now. It is a message. It is dramatic. It is efficient. It has wings." Naruto ignored him. When the servants found it at sunrise, the estate erupted, footsteps everywhere, panic, confusion. Guards shouting, servants checking doors, one maid crying because she thought spirits had visited. Lao arrived last, not because he was slow, Because he wanted to appear controlled, Naruto sat at breakfast, clean, composed, eating rice porridge. His mother was pale. Lao entered the room. His steps were calm, his heartbeat was not. Naruto did not look up. "Good morning, father." Lao stood in the doorway. "Toph." "Yes." "Do you know what happened in the courtyard?" Naruto took a small sip of tea. "Yes." His mother's hand trembled. Lao's voice lowered. "Explain." Naruto set the cup down. Someone removed the locks. The silence that followed was almost funny. Kurama enjoyed it openly. Lao stepped closer. "Did you do this?" Naruto turned his face toward him. "I am blind," his mother whispered. Toph. Naruto did not enjoy hurting her. But some truths could not be introduced gently. Lao's foot pressed harder into the floor. Anger, fear, humiliation. "You think this is clever?" "No." "Then what is it?" Naruto stood, small, barefoot, beneath the table. He pressed one toe against the stone floor. In the courtyard, the metal spiral shifted. Far away, beyond the dining room walls, the entire pile lifted 1 inch off the ground. Every servant in the courtyard screamed. Lao felt the vibration through the floor. So did Naruto's mother. Naruto did not raise his voice. "It is information." Lao said nothing. Naruto continued. "Locks only work if the person inside cannot speak to metal." The pile dropped in the courtyard. A heavy ringing crash echoed through the estate. Naruto walked toward the door. No one stopped him. At the threshold, he paused. "I will be in the garden." Then he left behind him. Lao Beifong stood in a room full of wealth and realized, perhaps for the first time, that his daughter's cage had been built from materials that no longer obeyed him. That day, no one followed Naruto into the garden. The servants avoided the paths. The guards stood farther away. His mother watched from a window, heart heavy and afraid. Lao remained in his study for hours. Naruto trained, not because he was angry, because anger had to become something useful or it became poison. The iron sand circled him in a slow, dark cloud, 10 meters. Then 12, then back to 10. Control mattered more than range, Kurama observed quietly. "You crossed a line today," Naruto knew. "Yes, can you go back?" Naruto listened to the metal moving around him, small particles, sharp, obedient. No, he could not. That was the thing about impossible doors. Once opened, they did not close properly again. Later that evening, rumors reached the estate. Fire Nation scouts near the outer provinces, military movement, merchants whispering of burned roads, travelers speaking of refugees. And from the north, another rumor. The Avatar had awakened. The word moved through jailing like wind through dry grass. Avatar, hope to some, threat to others. Myth made flesh. Naruto sat in the garden while servants whispered behind walls. He felt their fear in the floor. Kurama stirred. "The Avatar is important here." "Yes. Are you interested?" Naruto considered it. A child carrying the weight of a world, a spiritual role assigned by birth. A person everyone would try to turn into a solution. Yes, Naruto understood that too well, but interest was not urgency, not yet. His attention drifted beyond the estate, beyond jailing. Northward in imagination, Ba Sing Si. He had heard the name from tutors, merchants, servants, and Lao's political guests. The great city, the eternal city. Walls so vast they were spoken of like mountains. Stone and earth on a scale no estate could match. A city that believed its walls made it permanent. Naruto pressed his palm to the ground. He imagined touching those walls, reading every crack, every tunnel, every hidden chamber, every stress line, every metal vein buried within the stone. His fingers curled. Kurama felt the thought. "You are not thinking about the Avatar." "No. You are thinking about the city." Naruto nodded. Kurama sighed. "Of course you are." Naruto smiled faintly. Far away, armies moved. Somewhere, a boy called the Avatar had returned to a world waiting to use him. In jailing, Lao Beifong tried to understand how to control a daughter who had made his locks irrelevant. And beneath Naruto's bare feet, iron dust rose slowly from the garden soil, circling his hand like a promise. The world had rules. Naruto respected rules. He studied them, tested them, bent them. And when they proved false, he buried them quietly and moved on. Metal could move. That truth now existed, small, secret, unstoppable. The first metal had answered him. The rest of the world would follow. Fourth chapter, the eternal cities seems theme, institutions as opponents. The violence of systems vs. the violence of individuals. Naruto left the Beifong estate before sunrise. There was no dramatic argument, no broken gate, no shouting match in the courtyard, no final speech delivered to a stunned household. That would have been satisfying. It also would have been careless, so instead he left like a crack spreading through stone, quietly, slowly, inevitably. The estate slept around him. Servants breathed softly in their quarters. Guards shifted in predictable routes. His mother lay awake in her room, not sleeping, but not moving either. Lao sat in his study, as he had for most nights since the locks appeared in the courtyard, one hand resting near a cup of tea gone cold. Naruto felt them all through the floor. He stood barefoot in his room, wearing plain travel clothes stolen over 3 separate weeks from laundry stores, servant trunks, and one unattended merchant wagon. A small pouch of iron sand rested against his hip. Another pouch held coins. A third held dried food, no toys, no keepsakes. No noble ornaments, nothing that belonged to Toph Beifong. Almost nothing. On his desk sat a small, folded butterfly made from iron. It had taken him longer than he wanted to admit. Kurama had watched the entire process with the disgusted patience of an ancient demon forced to observe arts and crafts. "You are getting sentimental," the fox said. Naruto adjusted one wing. "No, you folded metal into a butterfly. It is a message. You already used that excuse." It was true then, too. Kurama snorted. Naruto picked up the butterfly and walked through the silent hall. Every reinforced latch opened before he touched it. Metal no longer protected the estate from him. It announced itself. The side door opened with a soft click. Outside, the garden waited beneath the dark morning air. Naruto paused. For years, this garden had been cage, classroom, battlefield, and language. Its hidden lattice remained beneath the surface, dense with his practice. A second skeleton under the polite beauty, Lao Beifong paid gardeners to maintain. Naruto placed one palm on the stone path. The garden answered. He did not destroy the lattice. He did not collapse the walls. He did not leave some grand wound behind to prove he had been there. He only sent one pulse downward. The hidden training structures softened. Stone plates sank. Reinforced pockets loosened. The garden became ordinary again, or close enough that no one would understand what had once lived beneath it. Then Naruto walked to the dining room. The long table was empty. He placed the iron butterfly at Lao's seat, not his mother's. Lao's. Kurama stirred. "Why him?" Naruto turned away. "Because he will know I thought of him. And it will drive him insane." Kurama was quiet for half a second, then he laughed, not loudly, but with genuine approval. Naruto left through the front gate. The guards did not see him. Not because they were incompetent, because they were watching the exits a disobedient child would use. Naruto walked under the gate itself, through a gap beneath the foundation that had not existed the night before and would not exist after sunrise. Earth closed behind him as he passed. By the time the estate woke, Toph Beifong was gone. By the time Lao found the butterfly, Naruto was already beyond jailing. The road to Ba Sing Si was long. Naruto traveled alone, at least outwardly. Kurama disliked that description. "I am here," the fox said on the third day, while Naruto rested beneath a stone overhang during rain. Naruto sat cross-legged, palms on the ground, listening to distant wheels on the road. "I know, then you are not alone." Naruto smiled faintly. "You used to hate sounding comforting. I still hate it. You're bad at it. I am excellent at everything. You got stuck inside me twice." Kurama went silent. Naruto's smile widened. The journey taught him more than tutors ever had. The Earth Kingdom was massive, but not whole. That was the first truth the road gave him. Maps made kingdoms look solid. Borders, capitals, provinces, roads, names. Adults loved maps because maps pretended the world could be understood from above. Naruto understood the ground. And the ground told a different story. Villages with too many empty houses, fields that had not been planted properly, roads repaired in haste. Travelers moving in clusters, footsteps tight with fear, merchants lying about where they came from, soldiers at checkpoints pretending they had more control than they did. Rumors traveled faster than carts. The Fire Nation was pushing deeper. Some towns had fallen. Some had not fallen but had already begun behaving like they would. The Avatar had returned. The Avatar had attacked a ship. The Avatar had been captured. The Avatar had escaped. The Avatar was 12. The avatar was a spirit. The avatar was dead. The avatar was hope. The avatar was someone else's problem. Naruto heard it all. He believed almost none of it. People in fear turned information into weather. It moved around them, changed shape, and soaked everyone whether or not it was true. What interested him more were the soldiers, not the Fire Nation ones. He avoided those, the Earth Kingdom soldiers. Their footsteps carried exhaustion. Their armor was maintained but not loved. Their discipline varied from unit to unit. Some patrols were sharp. Others moved like men waiting to be defeated. That worried Naruto, not because he intended to save them. He had meant what he told Aang in the outline of his own heart before ever meeting him. He had died once saving a world. He was not eager to do it again. But a collapsing world did not respect personal boundaries. War, like water, entered through cracks. And Ba Sing Se was famous for having no cracks. That alone made Naruto suspicious. He reached the outer wall near dusk after nearly 3 weeks of travel. At first, he felt it before he understood it, a pressure across the horizon, stone on a scale that did not fit inside ordinary perception. The road beneath his feet changed several miles out, becoming more compressed, more traveled, more deeply tied to centuries of movement toward one place. Refugee footsteps layered over merchant carts, soldier formations, animals, wheels, and the slow, endless weight of history. Then the wall entered his seismic range. Naruto stopped walking. Kurama stirred. What? Naruto did not answer immediately. He placed one hand on the ground. The wall was not a wall, not really. Calling it a wall was like calling Kurama a fox, technically correct, insultingly incomplete. It stretched beyond Naruto's range in both directions, plunging deep into the earth. Layered with stone, packed soil, reinforcement chambers, old repairs, hidden passages, sealed sections, forgotten hollows, and pressure scars from impacts older than many villages. It had weight like a mountain. But unlike a mountain, it was made by hands, thousands of them, maybe millions. Naruto extended his sense carefully. No chakra at first, just passive seismic listening. The wall hummed with people, workers, guards, travelers, refugees, officials, secret movement deeper inside, there. Naruto's attention sharpened. Beneath one section of the lower foundation, figures moved where ordinary guards did not. Their footsteps were too quiet, too synchronized. Their weight distributed in trained patterns. Stone shifted around their hands in small, controlled motions. Earthbenders. Not soldiers, something else. Kurama felt Naruto focus, hidden force. Yes, how many? Naruto pressed harder. The range strained. 43 in this section. Kurama gave a low whistle. You counted them by footsteps, by arrogance. Kurama laughed. Naruto stood and continued toward the gate. The line entering Ba Sing Se was long. Refugees stood with bundles, carts, crying children, silent elders, and the dull exhaustion of people who had carried their homes until they became luggage. Naruto joined them. No one paid much attention to one blind girl traveling alone. That said more about the war than about Naruto. At the gate, an official asked his name. Toph, Naruto said. The official waited. Family? Naruto tilted his head. Do I look like I have one with me? The official sighed, not unkindly. Just tired. Lower ring registration. A stamp pressed onto paper, a direction given, a life sorted in 4 seconds. Naruto entered Ba Sing Se. The city was a universe pretending to be organized. Jailing had been loud. Ba Sing Se was layered. That was the difference. Jailing moved like a busy market. Ba Sing Se moved like several cities stacked on top of one another and forced to share a heartbeat. The lower ring hit first, crowded streets, refugee camps, cheap housing, food stalls, sweat, animals, packed earth floors, repairs done over repairs. Children running barefoot. Old people sitting against walls with the stillness of those who had already spent all their fear. The middle ring was different, cleaner footsteps. Better shoes, more carts, more formal traffic, stone roads maintained properly. People walking as if they expected space to appear for them. The upper ring existed above the others like a held breath. Naruto had not reached it yet, but the city's structure told him enough. Wide roads, deep foundations, fewer people, more guards, more silence. Power always bought itself quiet. Kurama noticed too, this city has layers. Naruto walked through the lower ring with his staff tapping lightly. Most do. No, this one believes the layers are natural. Naruto did not answer. He had seen villages like that, clans like that, nations like that. People arranged themselves into levels, then called the arrangement tradition so no one would have to admit someone had built it. For 2 days, Naruto did very little. That was deliberate. He rented a small room in the lower ring using coins from Earth Rumble and the Beifang estate. He ate simple food, he listened. He mapped streets, he learned patrol routes, he counted hidden tunnels. He identified where stone was newer, where walls had been repaired, where people avoided speaking certain names. By the end of the 2nd day, he had learned 3 important things. First, Ba Sing Se was more afraid of panic than invasion. Second, everyone knew the Dai Lai existed. Third, everyone pretended they did not. That made Naruto curious. So, naturally, the Dai Lai came to him first. It happened in a narrow street near the border of the lower and middle rings. Naruto was walking alone, one hand resting on his staff, feet bare beneath the hem of his clothes. The street was not empty, but it was thinner than it should have been. People had begun leaving the area in small, unconscious waves, a warning pattern. Kurama stirred. Company. Naruto kept walking. 3 men approached. Their steps were quiet, too quiet for ordinary officials. Robes, stone gloves, balanced stance. Earthbenders trained for capture, not battlefield chaos. The lead agent stopped 10 feet away. Young lady, Naruto faced him. Yes, his voice was smooth, polite. Empty. You appear to be lost. No, you are traveling alone. Yes, that is unsafe. Naruto almost sighed. Every controlling man in every world used the same opening script. I am managing. The agent's heartbeat did not change. Professional, you should come with us. Why? To ensure your safety. Kurama growled. Naruto lowered his head slightly. No, thank you. The second agent shifted. There it was, the tiny change before violence. The lead agent raised his hand. His stone glove launched, not at Naruto's face, at his shoulder. Disable, control, restrain, non-lethal, professional. Predictable? Naruto stepped aside before the glove left the agent's hand. To the Dai Lai, it must have looked like he moved early, because he had. The agent's stance spoke 0.3 of a second before the attack. Kai shifted through his foot, knee, hip, shoulder, wrist. The earth obeyed after the body confessed. The stone glove struck the wall behind Naruto. Crack, pedestrians fled. The second agent moved to flank. Naruto opened the pouch at his side. A thin line of iron sand flowed out, low to the ground, silent beneath the street dust. The lead agent pulled his glove back. Naruto let it come. Then, at the last moment, the iron sand slid into the glove's finger seams. Naruto closed his fist. The glove shattered from the inside. The sound was sharp. The lead agent froze. For the first time, his heartbeat changed, not fear. Recognition that something impossible had occurred. Naruto turned and continued walking. The third agent stepped into his path. Naruto lifted one foot and set it down. A narrow stone ridge rose beneath the agent's heel. Not enough to attack, only enough to disrupt balance. At the same time, Naruto sent a second thread of iron sand into the metal clasp at the man's belt and snapped it open. The agent stumbled. His robe loosened. For half a second, he had to choose between recovering stance and preserving dignity. He chose dignity. Bad choice. Naruto walked past him. None of the agents followed. Kurama sounded amused. You broke his glove and undressed him. Only the belt. That may be worse. It was efficient. It was hilarious. Naruto did not smile until he turned the corner. After that, the city began watching him, not openly. Open attention could be confronted. This was quieter. A pause in conversation when he entered certain streets. A pair of footsteps shadowing him from rooftops. Stone tunnels shifting slightly beneath his rented room. Officials suddenly becoming very interested in a blind girl from nowhere with no family registration beyond a lower ring stamp. Naruto let them watch for 2 more days. Then he led them underground. Ba Sing Se's canal tunnels were old, older than most of the visible buildings above them. Water had once moved through some. Maintenance workers used others. A few had been sealed. Others had been forgotten by everyone except rats, smugglers, and apparently the Dai Lai. Naruto chose one with stone walls, narrow passages, metal maintenance doors, and enough distance from civilians to prevent accidents. He entered near midnight. 12 Dai Lai followed. Kurama counted with him, 3 ahead, 4 behind, 5 above, left through the service passage. They think they are surrounding you. Naruto placed one hand against the tunnel wall. They are. Kurama paused, then he chuckled. The first attack came from above, left. A stone glove shot through a murder hole in the wall. Naruto tilted his head. The glove passed close enough to disturb his hair. He sent a pulse through the tunnel floor, not an attack, a question. The Dai Lai answered by moving. Every stance lit up in seismic sense. 12 bodies, 12 Kai patterns, 12 men trained to fight as a mechanism. Naruto respected that individual fighters were often easier to break than teams. Teams had rhythm, support, roles. If one attacked, another covered. If one retreated, another closed the angle. But mechanisms had flaws too, predictability. The second and third agents attacked together from opposite sides. Naruto raised a wall between himself and the left strike, then did something they did not expect. He did not block the right strike. He redirected it through the wall. The stone glove slammed into Naruto's raised barrier, but chakra-laced stone carried the impact sideways. The force traveled through the wall and burst outward beside the left agent, knocking his own teammate's attack path into his stance. He stumbled. Naruto stepped forward. Iron sand flowed from his pouch. A maintenance door at the end of the tunnel groaned. The hinges twisted. Thin sheets of iron peeled away from it like paper. The Dai Lai hesitated. That hesitation decided the fight. Naruto raised both hands, 40% chakra, 60% seismic, a dangerous state, stable for maybe 3 minutes. He would need 90 seconds. The tunnel became an instrument. Stone walls shifted in narrow bursts, not collapsing, only redirecting motion. Every Dai Lai projection that entered the tunnel became information. Naruto read the angle, bent the receiving wall, and sent force elsewhere. One agent fired a glove at Naruto's legs. Naruto redirected it into the ceiling above another agent's shoulder, forcing him to duck. The duck opened space. Iron wire wrapped his wrists. Another agent tried to pull the tunnel floor out from under Naruto. Naruto let him begin, then fused chakra into the loosened slab. The agent suddenly found himself trying to bend stone that remembered Naruto's command more strongly than his own. The slab snapped back into place. His balance broke. Iron wire took his ankles. 3 agents attacked in sequence. Naruto exhaled. The first glove shattered from sand in the seams. The second was caught by a rising stone plate and redirected into the third. The third agent dodged well, better than the others. Naruto marked him as experienced. He lasted 9 seconds longer. Then Naruto pulled a strip of iron from the maintenance door, flattened it midair, and wrapped it around the man's elbows and knees in a single flowing motion. No broken bones, no blood, no deaths, just control. That was important. Killing was easy in tunnels. Too easy. Naruto had learned long ago that lethal force often made problems simpler in the moment and larger afterward. He was not here to start a war with Ba Sing Se. He was here to teach the city that touching him had a cost. The final 2 agents retreated deeper into the tunnel. Smart. Naruto followed. Not quickly. He did not need to. The ground carried their panic. One tried to collapse the passage behind him. Naruto stopped the collapse halfway, compressed the falling stone into a smooth arch, and walked beneath it. The other agent turned and raised both hands. A full wall of stone surged toward Naruto. Good power, poor control. Naruto pressed his palm forward. Iron sand formed a thin, rotating disc, not to cut, to drill. The disc entered the wall's center, found stress points, and split the projection into 4 harmless slabs that slid past him and locked into the tunnel walls. The agent stared. Naruto raised one finger. A metal band wrapped around his wrists. The fight ended, 90 seconds. Kurama sounded almost pleased. You are getting efficient. Naruto lowered his hands. His fingers trembled. Too much chakra. Yes, my left side is numb. That is new, bad new, likely. Naruto breathed through the pain. The 12 Dai Lai agents were alive, conscious, and immobilized in liquid, thin metal restraints pulled from the maintenance door, hinges, wall fixtures, and hidden support brackets. He walked among them. Some glared, some looked away. The lead agent from the street was there. Naruto stopped beside him. You are disciplined, Naruto said. The man's jaw tightened. That is not praise. It is. Naruto turned toward the wall. He placed 2 fingers against the stone and began carving, not with a tool, with focused earthbending. The The message took longer than the fight. Kurama watched, amused. You are writing backward. Yes. Why? So he reads it properly when standing here. He, the man who sent them. Kurama hummed. Long Feng's name had surfaced several times in whispers. Grand Secretariat, political authority, the quiet hand behind the Dai Lai. Naruto had not met him, but systems always had a center, maybe not a true center, maybe just a face, a voice. A man convincing himself he controlled the machine because it had not yet eaten him. Still, messages needed recipients. Naruto finished the carving. I know how many of you there are. Backward from his perspective, correct from the tunnel entrance. Then he left, behind him, the Dai Lai agents lay bound in their own city's bones. Long Feng arrived an hour later. Naruto was not there to feel it directly, but he imagined it with satisfying accuracy. The careful steps. The controlled breathing, the pause before the message, the silence afterward. He was right about most of it. Long Feng stood in the tunnel with his hands folded behind his back, Dai Lai agents being freed around him. He read the backward, carved words in the wall. His face did not change. That was why he had power. Men who panicked openly rarely survived politics. An aide stood beside him, pale. What should we do, Grand Secretariat? Long Feng did not answer immediately. He looked at the broken maintenance door, the iron restraints, the shattered gloves, the message. Then the agents, no deaths, that interested him most. Powerful enough to kill, precise enough not to, young enough to be underestimated, unknown enough to be dangerous. Finally, Long Feng said, find out everything about the Beifong family. The aide bowed. And the girl. Long Feng's eyes remained on the message. Observe, do not engage, a pause. Not until we understand what she wants. That was Long Feng's mistake. He assumed Naruto wanted something from Ba Sing Si, position, protection, money, revenge, political leverage. People like Long Feng understood desire as a handle. Find what someone wanted and you could pull them. Naruto wanted to understand the wall. That was much harder to use. The next day, Naruto entered the industrial district. Ba Sing Si's forges were different from Jailing's small workshops. Here, metal existed in serious quantities. Steel beams, iron tools, molten streams, chains, cart wheels, armor plates, nails by the thousands. The entire district rang in Naruto's seismic sense like a second city hidden inside the first. It nearly overwhelmed him. He stood in an alley between two workshops, breathing slowly while Kurama grumbled warnings. Do not expand too fast. I know. You say that before doing it anyway. I know that too. Molten metal moved through channels inside one forge wall. Naruto could feel it, not clearly at first. Heat distorted the vibration. Liquid structure shifted too fast. Refined metal did not carry earth, memory the way ore did. But after weeks of iron sand, after locks and hinges and maintenance doors, after reading metal's stress lines again and again, Naruto's perception had changed. Metal no longer felt like earth hidden behind silence. It felt like earth speaking another dialect. The difference mattered. Naruto slipped into an abandoned side chamber connected to a cooling vent. No workers nearby, no civilians in range. Good. He placed one hand against the forge wall. Behind it, molten metal flowed in a controlled channel. Kurama's voice dropped. Absolutely not. Naruto listened. The liquid metal moved like water but weighed like stone and burned like fire. Dangerous, beautiful. He reached for the impurities first, old habit, then stopped. No. That was the old method, useful for ore. Useful for early metal bending, but incomplete. If he kept treating metal as earth with impurities, he would always depend on flaws. Naruto had never liked depending on flaws. He pressed deeper, not impurities, structure, not what remained of earth. What metal had become. He followed heat vibration, pressure flow, density, and shape. The liquid metal answered, barely. Kurama went silent. Naruto bent two fingers. Inside the wall, the molten stream trembled. His pathways burned instantly, not metaphorically. Actual heat ghosted through his hand, though the wall remained between him and the metal. His body could not tell the difference between sensing heat and holding it. He clenched his teeth. 45% chakra, too high, too fast, but stable for now. The molten metal rose inside its channel, pushing against gravity. Naruto pulled. A thin stream slipped through the vent opening, glowing hot as sunrise he would never see. The air changed. Heat struck his face. Kurama snarled. Cool it. Naruto lifted his other hand. Earth rose from the floor, wrapping around the stream in a spiral. Heat bled into stone. The metal darkened from bright liquid to dull red, then black, still moving, still his. Naruto shaped it, not into a sphere, not into sand, a blade, simple, straight, balanced. The metal cooled fully in midair and hovered between his hands. Naruto released it. The blade dropped point, first into the stone floor and stuck there, humming, silence. Naruto's knees nearly gave out. Kurama caught the chakra flow before it collapsed completely. You reckless, stubborn, impossible brat. Naruto sat heavily on the floor. Blood dripped from his nose again, his palms shook, but he was smiling. Kurama sighed. I hate when that expression means success. Naruto touched the blade's hilt, refined steel, no impurities needed, no ore memory. No trick, direct metal bending, metal release, second form. The name came naturally, not because this world used that language, because Naruto did. His past and present had finally fused into a technique that belonged to neither world alone. How long? Kurama asked. Naruto measured himself. Maybe 30 seconds in combat. That is terrible. It will improve. At what cost? Naruto did not answer immediately. His seismic sense flickered at the edges. For several seconds the floor blurred, then returned. At a real one, he said. Kurama accepted that. He did not like it. But he accepted it. For the next 2 days, Naruto did not train. That was the rule. After breakthrough, level strain, rest. Kurama enforced it with ruthless annoyance. Naruto spent the time walking the city, listening to Long Feng's net tighten around him. No Dai Lai approached, but they watched. From tunnels, rooftops, official buildings, crowd edges, Naruto counted them, not all of them, but enough. Ba Sing Se's secret police were impressive, disciplined, patient, deeply embedded. They did not behave like criminals. They behaved like immune cells protecting a body from infection. That was the problem. Institutions rarely believed they were villains. They believed they were necessary. On the third evening, Naruto climbed the inner wall, not all the way by brute force. That would have been stupid. He used maintenance passages, earth steps, and one official stairway where the guard's attention had been redirected by a loose coin rolling under a cart. From the top, Ba Sing Se spread beneath him. He could not see it, but he felt it. The city's heartbeat was enormous. Millions of steps layered through rings of stone, children running, workers lifting, soldiers drilling, nobles strolling, Dai Lai moving underneath it, all like hidden roots. Beyond the outer wall, the earth stretched outward, far away, so faint he almost missed it. Naruto felt marching, not close. Not yet, but organized, heavy metal wheels, war machines, Fire Nation, 3 weeks out, maybe less. Kurama felt Naruto's focus shift. Army. Yes, how far? Still far. Will Ba Sing Se notice? Naruto listened to the city behind him. The upper ring moved like nothing was wrong. The lower ring already knew. Some have. That is not what I asked. No, Kurama sighed. Naruto stood barefoot on the wall and pressed both hands to the stone. The wall's scale entered him again. Stress points, tunnels, hidden Dai Lai routes, old siege scars, iron traces deep inside. Reinforced sections, weak seams. No wall was perfect. This one was simply large enough to make people confuse size with permanence. Naruto understood the temptation. He had once been a wall too, a living one, built between his village and everything that wanted to destroy it. People praised walls after they worked. They rarely asked if the wall wanted to stand there forever. Behind him, a Dai Lai agent shifted in a hidden passage, then another. Naruto did not turn. I know you are there, he said, no answer. He smiled faintly. You can tell Long Feng the Fire Nation is moving. Silence. Then one agent spoke from behind stone. You are not authorized to access this section. Naruto tilted his head. Neither is the army. The agent said nothing. Naruto lowered his hands from the wall. Tell him, Naruto said. Then he stepped off the inner ledge. For half a second, gravity took him. Kurama swore. Naruto raised one hand. A stone platform slid from the wall beneath his feet, catching him smoothly and carrying him down in controlled drops from one outcropping to another. By the time the Dai Lai reached the ledge, he was gone. That night, Long Feng received 3 reports. First, the Beifong girl had demonstrated direct control over processed metal in the industrial district. Second, she had detected Dai Lai agents through solid stone at ranges that should have been impossible. Third, she claimed Fire Nation forces were approaching. Long Feng read each report twice. Then he placed them neatly on his desk. His aide waited. Grand Secretariat. Long Feng looked toward the floor. Somewhere beneath the palace, the Dai Lai headquarters pulsed with disciplined movement. For years, he had managed Ba Sing Si by controlling information. The city did not need truth. It needed stability. Truth was useful only when properly shaped. But the girl was a problem because she did not seek permission to know things. Walls did not hide from her. Stone did not keep secrets. Metal obeyed her. And perhaps most dangerous of all, she did not appear to want anything he understood. Long Feng folded his hands. Continue observation. The aide hesitated, and if she interferes, Long Feng's eyes narrowed slightly. Then we learn whether she can be redirected. He paused quietly. 2 nights later, Naruto returned to the canal tunnel, not the same one, a deeper tunnel beneath the middle ring. This time he was not followed. Not obviously. That meant they were learning. Good. He placed one hand on the wall and extended his sense. Full passive range, then chakra amplification. 20%, 30. The city unfolded. Too much. Naruto clenched his jaw. Kurama anchored him. Slow. Naruto narrowed the field. Dai Lai tunnels first. 1, then 5, then 20. Their network was larger than he expected. It ran beneath official buildings, walls, roads, cultural sites, possibly even private estates. Not random tunnels. A shadow version of the city. He counted agents in motion. 72 within his current range, more beyond. He shifted focus. Metal sources, doors, weapons, brackets, reinforcements, hidden restraints. Then deeper, the wall foundations, iron veins inside stone, not large, but enough. Ba Sing Si had more metal under it than it realized. Naruto exhaled. The information settled, not comfortably, but clearly. Kurama said, "What are you going to do with this?" Naruto removed his hand from the wall. "Nothing yet." "You mapped a secret police network and an invasion route to do nothing." Naruto began walking. "I mapped them so if I need to do something, I won't be guessing." Kurama was quiet, then he said softer, "That sounds like you." Naruto did not answer. He returned to his rented room near dawn. On the floor, someone had left a message, not paper, stone. A small tile raised from the center of the room, carved with precise characters. "The Grand Secretariat requests an audience." Naruto stood over it. Kurama growled, "There it is." Naruto touched the carved stone with his toes. Not an order, not yet. A request wearing formal clothes. He pressed down gently. The tile flattened. Then he lifted his hand and pulled iron from the room's door hinge. The metal folded into a small butterfly. Again, Kurama groaned, "You are impossible." Naruto placed the butterfly where the tile had been. Then he carved his own reply into the floor beneath it. No. He left before the Dai Lai returned. By morning, Long Feng had the butterfly on his desk. His aide looked deeply uncomfortable. "She refused, sir." Long Feng picked up the iron butterfly. It was delicate. That annoyed him more than a crude threat would have. Crude threats were easy to punish. Elegance implied control. "No," Long Feng said. His aide blinked. "Sir." She did not refuse. Long Feng set the butterfly down. She clarified the negotiation. Outside, Ba Sing Si continued pretending it was eternal. Inside its walls, secret tunnels adjusted to a new variable. Far beyond the outer ring, Fire Nation engines rolled closer. And Naruto stood on the inner wall again, barefoot against ancient stone, feeling the army approach through the earth like a distant drumbeat. 3 weeks, he had thought before, now less. Maybe 2, Kurama spoke quietly. "You said you were not saving another world." Naruto's face remained turned toward the horizon. He could not see. "I'm not. The army, not my world. The city, not my city." Kurama waited. Naruto placed his palm against the wall. Beneath his hand, Ba Sing Si breathed millions of lives, not symbols, not a mission, not a prophecy. Just people, running, eating, lying, laughing, hiding, working, sleeping, surviving. Naruto closed his eyes. The darkness did not change. "I'm not saving the world," he said. His voice was quiet. "I'm deciding whether I want to stay somewhere that's about to be attacked." Kurama made a low sound. Convenient distinction. Yes, hypocrite, maybe. The fox did not argue further. Naruto stood there until dawn, reading the seams of the eternal city. Every wall had them. Every institution, too. Cracks did not mean weakness. Cracks meant truth. Stone shifted. Metal remembered. Armies approached. Long Feng calculated, the Dai Lai watched, and Naruto Uzumaki, reborn as Toph Beifong, listened to the heartbeat of Ba Sing Se and began deciding which parts of the city deserved to remain standing. This is a Chapter 5, the Cloak of Stone theme, integration. The cost of becoming something new. Kurama's transformation. Aang found Naruto because of a flying bison. That was not the explanation Naruto expected. In his first life, important people usually found him through prophecy, war, bloodlines, surveillance, emotional recklessness, or because he was shouting too loudly in public. This was different. This time, destiny arrived because a massive six-legged animal kept circling Ba Sing Se's inner wall like it had smelled something strange and refused to let the matter go. Naruto felt the creature before he heard it. The wall carried the vibration first, not through footsteps. Through air pressure, a large body descending, wind displaced in heavy waves. A low rumble from a throat too big for any normal animal. Then came the landing, soft somehow, impossibly soft for something that large. The stone beneath Naruto's bare feet absorbed the impact and translated it into shape. Broad paws, huge mass, thick tail, fur shifting in the wind, Kurama stirred. What is that? Naruto sat cross-legged on the inner wall, iron sand rotating slowly around him in a dark ring. Animal. I know it is an animal, large animal. Your insight is terrifying. Naruto's mouth twitched. The iron sand continued circling, not fast, not aggressive, just present. A warning to anyone approaching that the blind girl sitting alone on the wall was not unguarded. Then another vibration landed beside the beast. Light feet, young, balanced, but not in the way earthbenders were balanced. This boy moved like weight was optional. His steps kissed the stone rather than claimed it. Airbender, Naruto knew before the boy spoke. Wow, the boy said softly. You're not Toph, are you? Naruto opened his eyes. The darkness remained. He turned his face toward the voice. The boy stood several paces away, staff in hand, breathing carefully. Not afraid exactly, cautious, curious, carrying grief under cheerfulness like a bandage wrapped too tight. Naruto recognized that too. Kurama's voice lowered. This is him. Naruto did not need to ask who, the avatar, Aang, the child the whole world had started whispering about, the one everyone wanted to save them, the one who had probably never been allowed to decide whether he wanted that job. Naruto lifted one hand, the iron sand slowed. I am Toph, he said. Aang tilted his head. Naruto felt the motion through the subtle shift of his balance. But not just Toph. Naruto was silent for a moment, then he said, no. Aang sat down beside him without asking. Kurama immediately disliked that. Bold. Naruto did not move. Aang's flying bison huffed behind them, then settled against the wall with a massive sigh. The stone hummed under his weight for a while. Neither of them spoke. Ba Sing Se stretched beneath them. Naruto could not see it, but he felt the city breathing, millions of footsteps layered across rings of stone. Carts moving, doors opening, Dai Lai agents sliding through tunnels beneath polite streets, children running in the lower ring, officials walking with measured arrogance in the upper ring. Refugees shifting in sleep, Aang finally said. Appa kept flying this way. Naruto turned slightly. The animal. Yeah, he does that sometimes. He knows things before I do. Kurama grunted. I like the animal more than the boy. Naruto ignored him. Aang continued. I thought maybe it was the wall or the Dai Lai or something spiritual. Then I found you. Naruto's iron sand rotated once, disappointed. No, Aang smiled faintly. Naruto could hear it in his voice. Confused. That is common. With you, with everything. Aang laughed softly. It was a young laugh, too young. Naruto disliked that, not because the laugh was unpleasant, but because of what waited behind it. The world had a habit of finding children with kind eyes and placing knives in their hands, Aang said. You feel strange. Naruto raised an eyebrow. That is rude. No, I mean sorry. I mean your energy. It's like earthbending, but not only earthbending, and there's something else inside you. Kurama's attention sharpened. Naruto's hand lowered toward the wall. Aang noticed. I'm not trying to start a fight. Good. Because I don't think that would go well. No, Aang blinked, then laughed again. You're very direct. I save time. The boy looked out over the city. Naruto felt his posture change, the small sag in his shoulders, the weight he carried when he stopped performing cheerfulness. I'm Aang, I know. Most people do now. Do you like that? Aang did not answer immediately. That was answer enough. Naruto let the silence sit. Aang tapped his staff lightly against the stone. I used to think being the Avatar meant going on adventures and helping people, learning bending, meeting teachers, stopping the war. His voice softened. Then I woke up and everyone I knew was gone, and somehow the world still expected me to fix what happened while I wasn't there. Naruto felt something old twist in his chest, not sympathy alone, recognition, the kind that hurt because it did not ask permission. Aang continued. People keep telling me what I have to become, what I have to do, who needs me, what happens if I fail. He swallowed. Sometimes I wonder if they see me at all. Naruto said nothing. Kurama was also quiet for once. No sarcasm came. Aang turned toward him. You understand that, don't you? Naruto's fingers rested against the stone. He could lie, it would be easier. But this boy had landed beside him carrying the same kind of invisible chain Naruto had once worn with a grin, so Naruto told a truth. I died once saving a world. Aang went still. Even Appa's breathing seemed to pause. Naruto continued, voice calm. Not this world, another one. I was born with something dangerous sealed inside me. People hated me for it before I could understand why. Then they needed me. Then they loved me. Then they built a future on my back and called it peace. Aang did not interrupt. Good. Naruto respected that. I gave them everything, Naruto said. My childhood, my body, my anger, my forgiveness, my family's safety, my sleep, my name. Every part of me became useful to someone. The iron sand slowed until it barely moved. I was good at it. His voice did not break. That almost made it worse. I was very good at saving people. Aang whispered. Then why are you here? Naruto smiled faintly. Because apparently dying peacefully under a tree was not enough to keep me dead. Aang stared at him. Kurama muttered. That was almost a joke. Naruto ignored him. Aang's voice grew smaller. So you don't want to help this world? Naruto turned his face toward the city. Help, such a small word, such a hungry word. People used it like a cup and expected others to pour themselves into it. I am not the Avatar, Naruto said. No, I am not this world's hero. No, I am not responsible for everyone who suffers because powerful men built machines out of fear. Aang was silent. Then, gently, but if you can help, Naruto's jaw tightened. There it was, not accusation, not demand, worse, hope. Aang did not mean to trap him. That made it more dangerous. Naruto had been caught by hope before, his own and everyone else's. He said, the last time I gave everything to everyone, I forgot to give anything to myself. Aang's breath caught. Naruto continued. I want to know what I become when I am the only person I am responsible for. The words settled between them, honest, ugly, necessary. Aang looked down. I don't know if I'm allowed to want that. Naruto turned toward him. That is why you should. Aang laughed once, but there was no humor in it. That sounds selfish. It is. The boy looked surprised. Naruto said, sometimes selfish is what keeps a person from becoming a tool. Aang's fingers tightened around his staff for a moment. He looked much older than 12. Then he asked, did it work? Naruto did not pretend to misunderstand. Did choosing himself work? Had leaving the estate worked? Had refusing Lao worked? Had sitting on this wall while armies approached and cities lied to themselves worked? Naruto listened to Ba Sing Se. The city breathed beneath him, afraid, proud, corrupt, alive. I don't know yet, he said. Aang nodded slowly. That seemed to comfort him more than certainty would have. They sat together for nearly an hour. Aang spoke of the Southern Air Temple, of Katara and Sokka, of a war that had swallowed a century, of firebenders and loss and guilt. Naruto listened. He did not offer grand advice. He had grown suspicious of grand advice. It usually sounded wise because it was too broad to be useful. When Aang asked about metal, Naruto lifted one hand and let a strand of iron sand form a tiny spiral in the air. Aang's heartbeat jumped. That's amazing. Yes. How? Metal is earth that forgot how to answer. Aang was quiet. Then he said, that sounds like something Toph would say. Naruto considered that. He did not know Toph, not as a person, only as a body's inherited truth. A nervous system that loved the ground. A connection to Earth so deep it had survived reincarnation, possession, or whatever strange crossing had brought Naruto here. Maybe, he said. Aang stood eventually. Appa lifted his head. You're not coming with me, are you? Aang asked. No, I figured. Naruto felt the disappointment. Also the relief. Aang had not really wanted another powerful person telling him what to do. Good, Naruto said. Do not let them make your kindness into a leash. Aang went still. Then he smiled. This time, Naruto heard something real in it. I'll try. The flying bison rose with surprising grace. Wind rushed across the wall. For a moment, Naruto felt Aang above him, light as a falling leaf refusing the ground. Then he was gone. Kurama waited until the vibrations faded. He is too young. Naruto closed his eyes. Yes, so were you. Yes. The fox said nothing else. That night, Kurama spoke of Konoha. It began without warning. Naruto sat in his rented room in the lower ring, cleaning iron sand through slow rotations, separating dust from useful particles. Outside, the city settled into uneasy night. Kurama had been quiet since Aang left, not sleeping, thinking. That was always dangerous, then the fox said. Do you think Shikamaru handled it? Naruto's hand stopped. The iron sand fell softly into the bowl. He did not ask what it meant. Their death, the aftermath, the village, peace without Naruto. I do, Naruto said. Kurama's presence shifted. He hated paperwork. He complained about paperwork. Different thing. A low rumble, almost amusement. Then silence. Naruto waited. Kurama rarely approached grief directly. He circled it like an enemy camp, pretending he was only scouting. Finally, the fox said, Hinata knew first. Naruto's throat tightened. Kurama continued, voice rougher. She was sitting beside us. I know. She put her hand on yours before you stopped breathing. Naruto closed his fingers. His hand was small now, not old, not scarred, not his. Yes. Kurama's voice lowered further. Boruto arrived late. Naruto's breathing hitched once, only once. The room remained still. Kurama said he was angry. Naruto smiled painfully. Of course he was, he cried after. Naruto's eyes burned, though they could not see. I know. You do not know. No, Naruto whispered. I don't. That truth opened something. For a while, neither spoke. The city hummed around them. Kurama said, do you think they were all right after? Naruto wanted to answer quickly. Yes, they were strong. They had each other. They lived in peace. They moved forward. But he had learned that grief hated easy answers, so he gave the only answer he could bear. I trust them. Kurama absorbed that long silence. Then, very softly, the fox said, good. Naruto bowed his head. Kurama added, almost grudgingly, I miss ramen. Naruto laughed. It came out small and broken. Kurama made an irritated sound. What? That's what you choose. It was important. You used to say it was disgusting. It grew on me. Naruto laughed again, and this time the sound hurt less. They did not talk about Konoha after that. They did not need to. The room had changed, not healed, never that simple. But something had been acknowledged. Two beings who had once roared loud enough to shake battlefields sat in a small rented room in another world and admitted, without saying it directly, that they missed home. 3 days later, Naruto attempted the integration. It was not impulsive. That was what he told himself. Kurama disagreed. You had one emotional conversation with a flying child and now you want to merge my chakra with metal. That is not why. It is absolutely why. Naruto stood in an abandoned section of Ba Sing Sea's inner wall foundation, deep enough that civilian damage was unlikely and reinforced enough to survive controlled failure. Probably. The chamber had once been a storage vault or maintenance hall. Stone pillars lined the space. Metal brackets held old beams. Dust lay thick across the floor. Naruto had spent 2 nights preparing it. Shock absorption channels beneath the floor, emergency collapse vents, iron sand positioned in 4 rings, metal strips taken from abandoned wall supports, escape path, water skin nearby. Kurama had inspected the preparations and called them less stupid than usual, which Naruto accepted as approval. The goal was simple in theory, difficult in practice. Kurama's chakra had changed in this world, in the elemental nations. It had burned outward, vast, red, orange, violent, radiant. A cloak of power that flared like living fire. Here it moved differently, denser, slower, heavier, as if the earth itself had taught the 9 tails to compress. Naruto had felt it building over time. Kurama's chakra no longer wanted to explode outward. It wanted to pull inward, to create pressure. To make everything nearby aware of its weight. If Naruto could merge that pressure with metal release, even briefly, then iron sand would no longer drain him at the same rate. Metal within range might respond as naturally as stone. The cost would be brutal, but power always sent a bill. Naruto placed both palms on the floor, Iron sand rose around him. Kurama's voice became serious. 30% first. Naruto nodded. Kurama opened. The chakra did not surge, it sank. A dark pressure filled Naruto's body, heavy enough that his teeth clenched instantly. His limbs felt wrapped in stone. The air around him thickened, the iron sand trembled. Naruto inhaled, seismic sense active, metal sense active, Kurama chakra rising 40%, the chamber sharpened in his perception. Every metal bracket became bright. Every stone seemed deepened. Every dust particle touching iron sang faintly, 50%. Pain began, not burning, compression. His body felt too small for the force moving through it. Kurama growled, hold. Naruto tried. He reached for the iron sand. The sand answered too quickly. A ring snapped inward, cutting across the floor in a spiral. Naruto corrected, too late. Kurama's chakra flooded the seismic network. The world became noise, not loud, total. Every vibration multiplied. Every stone screamed its structure. Every metal object reflected pressure back into Naruto's skull. The chamber, wall, city, tunnels, footsteps, heartbeats, iron, stone, dust, all of it struck at once. Naruto lost the floor, his body remained standing, but his sense of direction vanished, up, down, near, far, all gone. The chakra cloak tried to form. Instead, it detonated outward as pressure. The chamber cracked, not one crack, dozens. A vibration wave burst from Naruto in a 50-meter radius. Stone pillars split, metal brackets twisted, dust exploded from the walls. Above, through layers of foundation, people stumbled. In nearby tunnels, Dai agents dropped to their knees on the inner wall. 3 hairline fractures spread through ancient stone. Naruto screamed without meaning to. Then darkness swallowed everything. When he woke, he was lying on cold stone. His body hurt everywhere, not injury pain, overuse pain, the kind that made every muscle feel like it had been wrung dry. He could not feel the room for one terrible second. Naruto thought his seismic sense was gone forever. Then Kurama spoke. Do not move. Naruto obeyed. That alone proved how bad things were. How long? 6 hours. Naruto closed his eyes, still darkness, always darkness, but beneath it no ground, no wall, no shape, a blackout complete. He swallowed, the chamber, still standing. The city, mostly annoyed, people hurt, some fell. No deaths that I can sense. Naruto exhaled, Kurama's voice hardened. That was failure. I know, no, you do not get to say I know like that makes you less stupid. Naruto remained silent. Kurama continued, anger rising. You flooded a sensory network designed for Earth with tailed beast chakra that has been densifying for years. You gave it nowhere to go. It did what pressure does. Naruto accepted the words. Each one deserved. Kurama's anger shifted. Beneath it, Naruto felt something else. Fear. The fox had been afraid. Naruto said softly, I'm sorry. Kurama went silent, then he growled, don't do it again. Naruto almost promised, almost. Instead, he said, not the same way. Kurama cursed for a full minute. 3 days passed before Naruto tried again. This time, Kurama set the terms. Not suggested, set, 60% maximum output from Kurama. No full metal sense at activation. Seismic range narrowed to the body first, then extended outward gradually. Iron sand inactive until cloak stabilization. Emergency cut off at tremor stage 2. Naruto listened to every rule. Then repeated them back. Kurama still sounded suspicious. You are agreeing too easily. I learned. I have evidence against that. Naruto stood again in the damaged chamber. He had repaired the main cracks but left several visible as reminders. Pain was an honest teacher. He placed his feet apart, no hands on the ground this time. That had been part of the problem. Too much direct sensory intake at activation. He breathed, slow. Kurama opened, 30% pressure filled Naruto's core. He did not push it outward. He let it settle around his spine, ribs, shoulders, hips. 40%, the chakra condensed, not flame, armor, not physical armor yet. A presence close to the skin, 50%. Naruto's seismic sense trembled. He narrowed it. Only his feet, only the floor directly beneath him. Only the weight of his body. Kurama's voice was low. Hold. Naruto held 60%. The cloak formed. It did not flare. It compressed. A dark corona wrapped around Naruto's small body, close, fitting, and dense. Air pressed outward from him in slow waves. Dust on the floor pulled toward his feet instead of away. Iron sand in the outer ring trembled. then lifted without Naruto touching it. Not wild, not forced, responsive. Naruto opened his hand. The iron sand moved instantly. No delay, no drain. It flowed around him like an extension of breath. His seismic range expanded, 10 meters, 20. The chamber became painfully clear but not overwhelming. The cloak filtered the input. No, Kurama filtered it. The fox had become part of the sense itself. A weight between Naruto and the world. Anchor, partner, Naruto whispered. It works. Kurama's voice came strained but steady. 8 minutes, Naruto nodded, maybe less. Do not be optimistic. The field expanded to 20 meters. Within it, every metal object responded. Iron brackets, old nails, sand or dust, all of it hung ready, no extra cost. The pressure field held them in relationship to Naruto, like gravity had changed its mind. He lifted both hands. The chamber transformed. Iron sand wove through the air in layered rings. Metal strips peeled from broken supports, flattened, twisted into wires, formed into plates, then folded back. Stone rose under his feet and compressed into a smooth platform without tremor. Naruto did not feel powerful. That surprised him. In his first life, great power had often felt like burning, like expansion, like becoming larger than the body holding him. This felt different, quiet, heavy, certain. The earth did not roar, it accepted. For 7 minutes and 43 seconds, Naruto stood inside the cloak of stone and metal. Then his hands began to shake. Kurama snapped, end. Naruto ended it. Immediately, the cloak collapsed inward. Iron sand fell. Metal dropped. Naruto fell to one knee, breathing hard but conscious. His seismic sense dimmed, not gone, dimmed, manageable. Kurama exhaled through him. Better. Naruto smiled faintly. That sounded like praise. It was not, it was. It was a report, a positive report. I will bite you. You are inside me. I will find a way. Naruto laughed softly. The sound echoed through the damaged chamber. For the first time since arriving in Ba Sing Se, he felt ready. Unfortunately, Long Feng agreed. The Dai Lai final confrontation came that night, not because Naruto sought it, because Long Feng had finally decided observation was no longer enough. 63 agents moved through the lower tunnel network. Naruto felt them before they reached formation. They came in layers. Outer containment, inner strike teams, tunnel blockers, capture specialists, communications runners, no civilians nearby. Interesting. Long Feng wanted him contained, not publicly confronted. Smart. Naruto stood in the central chamber of an old tunnel junction beneath the lower ring. He had chosen this place days ago in case of escalation. Wide enough to move, old metal reinforcements in the walls, multiple exits, deep stone. No fragile homes overhead. The first Dai Lai agent spoke from the tunnel ahead. Toph Beifong. Naruto faced him. Wrong name for this conversation. A pause. The agent did not understand. That was fine. You are ordered to surrender yourself to the authority of Ba Sing Se. Naruto tilted his head. No. The word traveled through the tunnel, simple, flat, final. The agents moved. Stone gloves launched from 3 directions. Naruto activated partial Kurama integration. The cloak formed in one breath. Dark pressure wrapped his body. The tunnel changed. Every metal vein, bracket, nail, and buried fragment within 20 meters answered at once. Iron sand rose from his pouch and became a halo. The first stone glove entered the field. Naruto did not dodge. The glove slowed, not stopped by force, by pressure. Its trajectory bent downward and embedded itself in the floor. The second glove shattered when iron sand entered its seams. The third reversed direction and slammed into the wall beside its owner's head. The agent froze. Naruto stepped forward. Then the tunnel became a web. He pulled metal from everywhere. Not greedily, precisely, thin veins of iron hidden in stone emerged as dark threads. Brackets unwound. Door plates peeled into ribbons. Nails stretched into wire. The Dai Lai tried to adapt. They were disciplined. Naruto respected that again. They shifted formations after the first 10 seconds. Good. They stopped relying on stone gloves and began manipulating tunnel walls directly. Better. They attacked the ground beneath his feet. Smart. Naruto answered each adjustment without flourish. When they shifted formations, he used seismic prediction to identify the new command rhythm and disrupted the 2 agents' setting tempo. When they attacked walls, He bent the walls around their attacks and redirected force into empty tunnels. When they targeted the ground, he lifted himself onto a compressed stone disc threaded with iron, floating just above the floor through pressure control, not flying, never flying. The earth was still involved. It simply had become negotiable. Kurama counted time. 1 minute. Naruto disabled 12 agents. Metal wires wrapped wrists and ankles. Stone collars fixed shoulders without choking. Iron bands locked fingers apart so bending forms could not complete. 2 minutes. 27 agents. A squad tried to collapse a side tunnel to cut off his movement. Naruto let them begin. Then he pulled iron veins from the surrounding stone and stitched the collapse mid-fall, freezing the rubble into an arch above their heads. They stared. He bound them to it. 3 minutes. 40 agents. The Dai became desperate. Their attacks grew larger, less precise. That was when Naruto knew they were losing discipline. He reduced output slightly, not from mercy, from efficiency. The cloak was expensive even when stable. Every second mattered. A captain-level agent stepped forward, stance low, breathing controlled. This one was better, much better. He did not attack immediately. He waited for Naruto to respond to 2 side strikes, then sent a delayed pulse through the floor aimed at Naruto's support disc. Naruto felt it late, almost too late. The disc cracked, his balance shifted. For the first time in the fight, a stone glove grazed his shoulder. Pain flashed. Kurama snarled. Naruto smiled. Good, a real fighter. The captain drew both arms back. The tunnel walls folded inward. Naruto dropped output into his feet. Seismic sense narrowed. He ignored the 60 other bodies. Ignored the city, ignored pain. Only the captain, breath, weight, Kai, intent. The walls closed. Naruto opened his hand. Iron sand became a thin dark line and shot across the floor, not toward the captain's body, but toward his stance. It sliced the stone beneath his left heel into powder. The captain's balance failed for half a second. Naruto raised 2 fingers. A metal band wrapped around the man's wrists, another around his ankles, a third across his waist, pinning him to the wall. The closing tunnel walls stopped inches from Naruto's shoulders. 4 minutes, Kurama said. 63 agents immobilized. No deaths. No broken spines. Several bruised egos. Acceptable. Naruto stood in the center of the tunnel, cloak flickering around him. Stone dust covered his clothes. Iron sand circled slowly. The Dai stared at him, some with fear, some with hatred. Some with something close to awe. Naruto spoke to all of them. Tell Long Feng I am not his enemy. No one answered. Naruto continued, but if he sends you again, I will become his problem. He released the cloak. The pressure vanished. His knees nearly buckled. He did not let them. Not in front of the Dai. Pride was inefficient unless used carefully. This was one of those times. He walked out of the tunnel. Only when he reached an empty passage did he place one hand against the wall and breathe through the shaking. Kurama was quiet. Naruto swallowed. How long was I in cloak? 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Cost, severe. Blackout, not yet. That sounded ominous. Naruto took 3 more steps. The world flickered. The floor vanished from his senses, then returned, then vanished again. Kurama's voice sharpened. Sit. Naruto sat immediately. The blackout lasted 12 minutes, not complete like before, more like storm clouds crossing the earth's voice. The tunnel faded in and out. Sometimes he felt the wall, sometimes nothing, sometimes too much. Kurama stayed with him through all of it. You still there? The fox asked. Naruto leaned against the stone. I'm still here. Good. The word was rough, almost angry, but Naruto heard what sat beneath it, relief. Far above, in a private chamber, Long Feng watched the end of the confrontation through a crystal ball. He had not expected victory, not entirely. He had expected information. He received it. The girl could defeat the Dai in numbers. She could control metal at scale. She could integrate an unknown spiritual energy field with bending. She chose not to kill. That last detail remained the most important. Long Feng closed the crystal ball. Slowly, his aide stood nearby, pale. Sir, Long Feng folded his hands. The machine of Ba Sing Si had met something it could not absorb by force. That did not mean defeat. It meant strategy had to change. Prepare a message, Long Feng said, to the girl. Yes. What should it say? Long Feng looked at the closed crystal ball. Nothing threatening. The aide waited. Long Feng's eyes narrowed. Offer her resources. The aide blinked. Resources. training space, privacy, political protection, access to records, a formal position if necessary. The aide hesitated. You want to recruit her? Long Feng's expression remained calm. I want to know whether she can be made to stand where we need her. Outside the city, the Fire Nation army was 2 days away. Long Feng did not mention that. He did not need to. Ba Sing Se's walls had protected the city for generations. But walls were passive. The girl was not. Before dawn, Naruto stood outside Ba Sing Se's outer wall, not on top of it, outside it, barefoot on open earth. The city slept behind him, or pretended to. The Fire Nation's approach pulsed through the soil like a drumbeat. War machines, cavalry, infantry. Metal wheels, armor, engines, breath, fear, discipline, fire. Naruto placed both palms flat against the ground. The earth stretched before him, wide, patient, old. Kurama stirred within his chest, dense and quiet. What are you going to do? The fox asked. Naruto listened to the approaching army. Then to the city behind him. Then to the silence inside himself where Aang's question still waited. If you can help, Naruto exhaled. I'm going to show them, he said, what the earth does to fire. Kurama was silent. Then the fox laughed softly, not mockery, not warning, anticipation. The ground beneath Naruto's hands trembled once. Far beneath the plain, iron veins answered. The battle for Ba Sing Se had not begun, but the battlefield was already listening. Final chapter of this video, the tectonic sovereign theme, consequence. What it means to win alone. The throne nobody wanted. At dawn, the Fire Nation saw the wall. For most armies, that would have been enough. Ba Sing Se's outer wall did not look like something built to stop men. It looked like something built to make men feel temporary. It rose from the earth in a line so massive, it seemed less constructed than grown, as if the world itself had decided where civilization ended and arrogance began. The Fire Nation general had studied maps of it for years. He had read reports from failed campaigns. He had listened to engineers argue over stress points, siege angles, supply routes, drill mechanisms, and the limits of earthbender reinforcement. He had been told the wall was impossible to breach quickly. He had also been told that nothing was truly impossible with enough fire, steel, discipline, and patience. The Fire Nation had all four. His army advanced across the plain in clean formation. War machines rolled behind armored infantry. Metal wheels crushed dry soil. Tanks groaned forward. Cavalry moved along the flanks. Engineers guarded the siege equipment with the tense pride of men who believed machines would do what soldiers could not. The general rode near the center. He expected resistance from the wall, archers, earthbenders, defensive formations. Possibly the Dai Lai, if the rumors about Ba Sing Se's secret police were true. What he did not expect was one figure standing outside the gate. A child, small, barefoot, apparently unarmed, blind, according to the scout who returned pale, faced, and confused. The general lowered his spyglass. Report again, he said. The scout swallowed. One person, sir, at the base of the wall. Earth Kingdom soldier, no armor, Dai Lai, no visible uniform, refugee. The scout hesitated. She is facing us. That answer irritated the general because it was not an answer at all. He lifted the spyglass again. The figure stood perfectly still on the open earth. Dark hair, green and gold clothing, though dusty from travel. Feet planted directly against the ground, hands resting at her sides. No army stood behind her. No visible defenders lined the wall above. Ba Sing Se's gate remained closed. The general felt the first flicker of unease, not fear. Not yet. He was too experienced to fear a strange battlefield detail without evidence. But he had survived long enough to know that impossible things rarely announce themselves politely. Advance. He ordered. The signal passed through the ranks. Drums sounded. Metal wheels turned. The army moved. Across the plain, Naruto listened. He stood barefoot before Ba Sing Se's outer wall, the city breathing behind him and the Fire Nation advancing ahead. He did not see the sunrise. He never would. But the earth saw enough. The army reached him through the ground in thousands of separate declarations. Boots, wheels, engines, armor, chains, weapons, breath, heartbeat, fear hidden beneath discipline, excitement hidden beneath fear. The generals mount shifting weight, engineers checking bolts. A soldier near the front whispering a prayer, another soldier pretending not to tremble. The war machines were loudest, not in sound, in structure: metal frames, reinforced axles, pressure chambers, rotating parts, hinges, plates, rivets, tracks, blades. All of it struck the earth with a rhythm that said one thing clearly: we were made to break walls. Naruto almost felt sorry for them. Almost. Kurama stirred inside him. The fox's chakra sat low and dense beneath Naruto's ribs, no longer flame, no longer roar, but pressure waiting beneath a mountain. 8 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto did not move. I know. Full integration means 8 minutes before your body starts failing. I know. After that, we reduce output or you lose seismic sense completely. I know, Kurama growled. You keep saying that like knowing has ever stopped you. Naruto's mouth twitched. The army continued forward. Behind him, Ba Sing Se waited. Naruto could feel people on the wall now. Soldiers, officials, Dai Lai, workers, refugees who had climbed where they were not supposed to climb. Long Feng stood somewhere above and behind, posture controlled, heartbeat hidden behind years of discipline. Aang was not there. Good, this was not the Avatar's battle, not today. Naruto lowered both hands and touched the earth. The plain answered. It was not empty. No battlefield ever was. Beneath the dry soil lay compacted layers, buried stone, old root channels, forgotten bones of ancient structures, veins of iron, pockets of moisture and pressure lines formed by centuries of weather. The Fire Nation saw open ground. Naruto felt a body, a huge sleeping body. He placed his palms flat. Kurama, the fox exhaled through him. Do it. Naruto opened the gate inside himself. Kurama's chakra rose, not like fire, like gravity. The first layer wrapped around his spine. The second pressed along his shoulders. The third sank into his arms, legs, hands, feet. The dark corona formed close to his body, so dense that dust on the ground began sliding toward him. Pebbles trembled inward. The air around him thickened. Then the cloak settled, full integration. The earth went silent for one impossible second, not because it stopped speaking. Because everything was listening. Naruto stood. His seismic sense expanded. 20 meters, 50, 100, 500. The plane unfolded. The Fire Nation army entered his awareness completely, not as a mass, as systems, supply carts, siege engines, infantry blocks, command chain. Metal distribution, weak points. Every rivet became a word. Every wheel became a confession. Kurama's voice came low. Time starts now. Naruto lifted one hand. The first Fire Nation tank stopped, not because it was struck, because its front axle bent inward. The soldiers inside shouted. The tank behind it swerved. Naruto turned his wrist. The second tank's metal track peeled off like ribbon and wrapped around its own wheels. A third machine tried to push forward. The ground beneath it liquefied into soft mud for exactly 2 seconds, swallowed half its weight, then hardened again around the lower frame. The army's front line stumbled. The general's heartbeat spiked. Hold formation, he shouted. Naruto heard him. He ignored him. The first wave of firebenders stepped forward. Their breath changed. Their feet planted. Their kai rose. Fire came. A wall of flame surged across the plain. Naruto did not counter fire with fire. He did not create a shield of stone in panic. He changed the battlefield. Stone plates rose from the ground at angles, not blocking the flames directly, but redirecting the heat upward. The fire hit slanted earth, split, climbed, and dispersed into the morning air. Behind the plates, Naruto walked forward, slowly. The army saw a blind girl advancing through their opening volley without burning. That was when fear properly entered the formation. Kurama felt it. They're breaking early. No, Naruto said. They're thinking. Same thing if they do it too late. The second volley came wider. Naruto answered with iron. Deep beneath the plain, narrow veins of ore responded to the pressure field. They rose in thin, dark sheets, not enough to form a wall, but enough to disturb firebender stances. Metal dust entered the air in a low wave, interfering with sight, breath, and footing. Naruto did not send it into lungs. He could have, he did not. Instead, the iron dust coated weapons, armor joints, tank vents, wheel seams, and trigger mechanisms. Then he clenched his fist across the front line. Metal complained, swords bent in their sheaths, spears twisted downward. Armor shoulder plates locked, tank vents sealed, catapult pins snapped. A war machine trying to turn suddenly folded one wheel inward and tipped onto its side with a groan of wounded steel. No explosion, no spectacle, just function removed. The army had been built on the assumption that metal obeyed the Fire Nation. Naruto corrected the assumption. 1 minute, Kurama said. Naruto's hands moved, the plane rose, not all at once. That would have been wasteful. Instead, terrain shifted in sections. A ridge appeared beneath the cavalry's left flank, forcing the animals to slow. A trench opened before the infantry center, shallow enough not to kill, deep enough to break formation. Stone pillars rose beneath siege equipment and lifted them off balance. Packed earth hardened under Naruto's feet and softened under the army's wheels. The Fire Nation tried to adapt. Their discipline was real. Officers shouted orders. Units split. Firebenders used jets of flame to clear dust. Engineers abandoned disabled machines and moved to repair by hand. Naruto respected that. Respect did not change the outcome. He extended his left hand. Iron sand formed from ore, rich soil in a widening circle. 10 meters, 20, 50, too much normally, impossible normally. But inside full Kurama integration, the field did not need Naruto to hold every particle individually. The cloak acted like a pressure domain. Metal within it knew where he was, knew what he wanted. The iron sand moved like weather. It swept across the battlefield at ankle height, not cutting flesh. Cutting straps, belts, bowstrings, harnesses, axle ties, armor bindings, supply ropes. Suddenly, the Fire Nation army began coming apart in small, humiliating ways. A soldier's chest plate dropped forward, a horse's harness loosened, letting the animal bolt free. A catapult arm sagged as its tension system failed. A line of shield. Bearers lost their grips as metal handles twisted too hot to hold, not from fire, but from friction and pressure. The general stared. What is she doing? No one answered, because no one understood the category of the attack. Earthbenders moved earth, waterbenders moved water, firebenders moved flame, airbenders moved air. This was not any of those. This was the battlefield itself deciding who was allowed to continue. 2 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto's breathing remained steady, but his hands had started to ache. The body was still young, too young for what he asked of it. He pushed anyway. A squad of elite firebenders broke from the center formation and advanced in a wedge, using controlled bursts to propel themselves over the broken terrain. Good, fast. Naruto turned toward them. Their leader launched a concentrated flame spear. Naruto raised 2 fingers. A stone pillar rose, wrapped with a spiral of iron sand. The flame spear struck it and split. The iron sand heated, glowed, then flowed around the fire like a living ribbon. Naruto flicked his wrist. The heated sand shot downward, not at the firebenders, but into the ground before them. The soil flash hardened into glassy, uneven patches. Their footing failed, 3 fell, 2 recovered. The leader jumped. Naruto felt the motion through disturbed air, and the landing point through the earth before he touched down. A stone hand rose from the ground and caught the man by the ankle, not crushing, holding. The firebender twisted, palm igniting. Naruto lifted him gently and set him down 20 feet behind his own line, upside down in a mound of soft earth with only his head and arms free. Kurama laughed. You buried him like a vegetable. He was too close. You could have broken his leg. I didn't need to. That is becoming your most annoying habit. The Fire Nation's left flank attempted to circle. Naruto let them. That confused Kurama. You see them. Yes. You are letting them approach the wall. Yes. The flank advanced along what seemed to be stable ground. Then Naruto pressed his heel down. The hidden channel beneath them collapsed. Not deep, not lethal. A long, shallow trench opened from left to right, dropping the entire flank waist deep into packed soil. Before they could climb out, iron bands formed from their own belt buckles, armor edges, and weapon fittings, linking them loosely together. They could move, they could breathe, they could not form ranks. 3 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto's seismic range flickered at the edge. Too much information, he narrowed focus. War machines next. They were the true threat to the wall, not today, perhaps, but eventually. Naruto reached into them. Metal frames tried to resist. Refined steel was harder than iron sand, harder than ore, but inside the cloak, Naruto did not need to brute force it. He read stress, pressure, purpose. A machine designed to drive forward became fragile when made to twist sideways. A tank's front plate folded inward just enough to jam its own steering. A drill mechanism unwound from the inside, its spiral blades separating into useless curved strips. A catapult's metal brackets bent open, causing the entire arm to drop harmlessly into the dirt. One by one, the Fire Nation's machines stopped being weapons and became expensive sculptures. The general finally understood enough to be afraid. "Retreat the engines," he ordered. Naruto heard. He lifted both hands. The earth behind the engines rose into a ridge, not a wall. A message. "You do not move unless I allow it." The general clenched his reins. His mount stepped nervously. For the first time, he looked not at Ba Sing Se's wall, but at the child. She had not shouted, she had not threatened, she had not even introduced herself. That made it worse. Men could understand fury. They could answer fury. This was not fury, this was decision. 4 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto's shoulders trembled once. Kurama noticed. Reduce range. Not yet, Naruto. Not yet. A line of Fire Nation archers moved into position behind the infantry, metal arrowheads, wooden shafts. Taut strings. Naruto turned his head slightly. The arrows launched hundreds. The wall behind him reacted before the arrows arrived. Stone panels unfolded upward from the ground like petals, each angled differently. Naruto did not try to block every arrow directly. He redirected paths. Arrowheads tugged sideways. Metal tips dragged shafts off course. Some buried themselves in the ground. Others struck stone and snapped. None reached him. None reached the gate. The archers lowered their bows. Several began stepping back without orders. Kurama growled. "Your hands." Naruto realized his fingers were numb. Bad. He flexed them. Sensation returned as pain. Worse, but useful. 5 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto had 3 minutes of safe integration left, maybe less. He needed to end the battle before then. Killing the general would do it. The thought arrived calmly. No anger, no hatred, simple battlefield logic. Remove command, break formation, force retreat. In his first life, young Naruto would have recoiled from the idea. Older Naruto did not recoil. He considered it. The general sat at the center, guarded but reachable. Metal armor, sword. Reinforced saddle, command drum nearby. Naruto could pull him from his mount, bind him, break his sword, humiliate him, or kill him. A stone spike would be easiest. Iron sand through armor joints, collapse beneath the mount. So many options. Kurama felt the thought. He did not interrupt. That mattered. Naruto made his choice. The ground beneath the general rose. A smooth stone platform lifted him and his mount above the battlefield, high enough that every Fire Nation soldier could see him. The general's sword flew from its sheath, not into Naruto's hand, into the air between them. The blade bent, folded, twisted into an iron ring, then dropped around the general's wrists, binding them together. His helmet peeled backward, not harming him, only exposing his face. The entire army watched their commander held above the plane by earth and disarmed by his own steel. Naruto spoke for the first time. His voice was not loud. It did not need to be. The wall carried it. The ground carried it. The silence carried it. Leave. The general stared down at him. Naruto continued. You came to break a wall. Around them, the battlefield shifted again. Every disabled machine lifted slightly, enough to show control. Every bent weapon trembled. Every trapped unit felt the earth loosen just enough to promise release. You found the earth awake. The general's face had gone pale. Naruto lowered the stone platform slowly. The ring around the general's wrists snapped open and fell to the ground. His sword remained twisted. Take your people, Naruto said. Do not come back. For 3 heartbeats, no one moved. Then the general gave the order, retreat. The word passed through the army like a cracked bell. Some soldiers hesitated, unable to believe the command. Then the earth released the trapped flank. Metal bands loosened. Trenches smoothed enough to climb. War machines remained disabled but movable if dragged. The Fire Nation army began withdrawing, not routing. Naruto allowed them that dignity. A routed army became desperate. A disciplined retreat carried the lesson farther. 6 minutes, Kurama said. Naruto held the cloak until the army had turned fully away from Ba Sing Se. Then he released. The dark corona collapsed inward. Iron sand fell to the ground. The battlefield went quiet. For half a second, Naruto still felt everything. The retreating army, the wall, the city, the breath of every witness. Then his seismic sense vanished, complete blackout. Naruto's knees hit the dirt. The world disappeared. No ground, no wall, no city. No body shape beyond pain and breath. Just darkness inside darkness. He sat alone outside Ba Sing Se, blind in a way even this body was not meant to be. Kurama was there immediately. Do not move. Naruto could not have moved if he wanted to. How long? I don't know yet. Naruto swallowed. His mouth tasted like blood. Army. Retreating, city, standing, people, alive. Naruto nodded once. That was enough. For a while, neither spoke. Naruto sat in the dirt, hands resting uselessly on his knees, unable to feel the earth beneath them. It was terrifying. He had not realized how much he had come to depend on the ground's voice until it was gone. Ordinary darkness was familiar now. This was absence, a world without response. Kurama remained close, not as power as presence. You still there? The fox asked. Naruto breathed in slowly. I'm still here. Good. A pause, then Kurama added, because that was actually impressive. Naruto almost laughed. It came out as a tired exhale. Was that praise? No, it was. It was battlefield assessment, positive assessment. Do not ruin it. Naruto smiled faintly. The blackout lasted 40 minutes. He counted by breath because he had nothing else. At first, there was only pain. Then pressure returned to his palms, then the weight of his own body. Then the texture of dirt, then a faint tremor from the retreating army far away. Then, slowly, Ba Sing Se behind him, millions of lives. Still there, still breathing. Naruto lowered his head. He had won. That was not the same as feeling victorious. When his sense returned fully enough to stand, he did not. He remained seated outside the wall. The battlefield around him was ruined but not slaughtered. Broken machines, bent weapons, churned earth, abandoned armor pieces, scattered supplies. Soldiers on the wall whispered. Dai Lai agents watched from hidden places. Long Feng calculated somewhere above. Naruto ignored them all. He was tired, not physically alone, tired in the soul. That was where Iro found him. The old general approached without armor. That was the first thing Naruto noticed. No heavy plates, no threatening stance, no guards. Just one man walking across a battlefield with 2 cups of tea. His steps were steady, gentle, not weak, never weak. Naruto knew dangerous men who moved softly. This one did not hide his strength. He simply did not need to press it into the ground with every step. Kurama stirred. Fire Nation. Yes, strong. Yes, not here to fight. No, Iro stopped several feet away. May I sit? Naruto turned his face toward him. You can. Iro lowered himself onto the dirt with a small sigh, as if sitting on a battlefield after watching an army retreat was a perfectly normal way to begin a morning. He offered 1 cup. Naruto accepted. The tea was warm, not too hot. Jasmine, maybe. Something earthy beneath it. For a while, they drank in silence. Naruto appreciated that immediately. Most people rushed to fill silence because they were afraid of what might enter it. Iro let it breathe. Finally, the old man said, You did not kill any of them. Naruto held the cup in both hands. I know, many would have. Yes, some would say you should have. Naruto took a slow sip. I know. Iro's heartbeat remained calm. Why didn't you? Naruto considered several answers. Because killing creates revenge. Because corpses teach worse lessons than survivors. Because I am tired of being necessary and feared. Because I could. That last one was closest. I know what it is like, Naruto said, to need someone to not kill you when they could have. Iro was quiet, then he nodded, not dramatically, not like a man receiving wisdom. Like someone recognizing the shape of an old wound. That is a difficult lesson, he said. Naruto's fingers tightened around the cup. Yes, Iro looked toward the broken machines. You have changed the course of this campaign. Maybe, more than maybe. Naruto did not answer. Iro smiled softly. You dislike being credited. I dislike being recruited. The old man chuckled, a wise distinction. Kurama made a thoughtful sound. I like this one. Naruto almost responded aloud and stopped himself. Iro drank his tea. I will tell certain people that advancing on Ba Sing Se would be unwise. Will they listen? Some will. And the rest, Iro's smile saddened. The world contains many people determined to learn from pain. Naruto understood that too well. Iro turned his attention back to him. You carry great grief. Naruto said nothing, and great restraint, still nothing. Iro did not push. That made Naruto answer. I carried a world once. Iro's heartbeat shifted, not disbelief, understanding that the sentence meant more than its words. And now, Iro asked. Naruto listened to the city behind him. I am trying to put it down. Iro nodded slowly. I hope you do. They finished their tea when Iro stood, his knees cracked slightly. Naruto pretended not to notice. Iro pretended not to notice Naruto pretending. Before leaving, the old man said, I hope you find what you are looking for. Naruto turned the empty cup in his hands. I think I already have. Iro smiled. Then may you have the wisdom to recognize it before it changes shape. He walked away. No bow, no bargain, no request, just tea, words, and departure. That made the meeting more important than most negotiations Naruto had survived. By midday, Long Feng sent his message. The paper arrived through a Dai Lai courier who approached Naruto outside the wall with the stiff posture of a man carrying something more dangerous than a weapon. Naruto had not moved far. He sat beneath the shadow of the outer gate, seismic sense mostly restored, body still sore from integration. The courier stopped at a respectful distance. The Grand Secretariat sends terms. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Terms, the courier corrected himself, an offer. Naruto held out a hand. The paper was placed in it. Fine quality, formal, carefully worded. Long Feng offered protection, resources. A residence in Ba Sing Si, training space. Access to restricted archives, political recognition. A position, though the title was deliberately vague, service without calling it service. Control without calling it control. A cage without bars. Naruto read the texture of the ink, the folds, the weight of the courier's breathing. Kurama growled. He learns quickly. Yes, smart offer. Yes, dangerous. Yes. Naruto folded the paper, then unfolded it, then pulled a strip of iron from a broken Fire Nation machine nearby. The courier stiffened. Naruto did not attack. He wrapped the paper around the iron strip and folded both together, slowly, precisely, into a butterfly. Kurama sighed. You and these butterflies. Naruto finished the wings, then placed the folded message on the ground. He pressed one finger to it. The earth opened. A narrow channel formed beneath the battlefield, under the wall, through stone toward the city. The iron butterfly sank. The courier stared. Naruto said, delivered. Long Feng received it in his office, not by courier, not through official channels. The floor beneath his desk softened, opened, and released an iron butterfly made from his own offer. It landed upright on the polished stone. Then the floor sealed. Long Feng stared at it for a long time. His aide stood frozen near the door. Sir, Long Feng did not answer immediately. He unfolded the butterfly. The paper was creased but readable. No written response, no signature, no counteroffer. Just the offer returned in a form that made the message unmistakable. You cannot hold what moves beneath your feet. Long Feng set the paper down. For perhaps the first time in years, he looked genuinely tired. Leave her alone, he said. The aide blinked. Sir, Long Feng's voice sharpened. Leave her alone. The aide bowed quickly and left. Long Feng remained at his desk, staring at the butterfly. Ba Sing Si's machine had survived by absorbing threats. Refugees became statistics. Dissidents became silence. Officials became tools. Truth became paperwork. But this girl could not be absorbed. Not because she was too violent, because she did not want entry. Power was easiest to manipulate when it hungered. This one had refused the table. That made her more dangerous than any rebel. That evening, Naruto walked along the outside of Ba Sing Si's wall, not inside. Outside, the battlefield had quieted. Workers from the city were beginning to clear debris. Soldiers gathered abandoned equipment. Some whispered when he passed. Others bowed awkwardly. A few simply stared. Naruto ignored most of it. He did not want worship. Worship was just another form of hunger. Eventually, he found a place where the earth felt undisturbed. He sat, barefoot. Back against stone, the city behind him, the open plain ahead, Kurama settled within him, heavy and quiet. For once, neither spoke for a long time. The sunset probably painted the sky in colors Naruto would never see. Orange, maybe. Red. Gold. The kind of sky he used to love as a child, sitting on the Hawkage monument pretending loneliness, was freedom. He did not need to see it. The earth gave him a different world. He could feel Ba Sing Si behind him, every heartbeat, every footstep, every child running through the lower ring. Every cart in the middle ring, every soft, noble step in the upper ring, every Dai Lai agent moving more carefully than before. He could feel the Fire Nation army retreating far away, still transmitting through the soil in fading rhythm. He could feel Iroh's slower steps somewhere along a road. He could feel broken metal cooling on the battlefield, and at the absolute edge of his range, so faint he might have imagined it, he felt something wide and shifting, not earth, not stone, not metal, the ocean. Naruto tilted his head, water, vast, moving, distant, a world beyond walls. Kurama noticed the shift. "What are you thinking?" Naruto considered lying, then did not. "I'm thinking this is the first time I've ever just stayed somewhere." Kurama listened. "Without needing to save it," Naruto added. The fox was silent. Naruto's fingers pressed lightly into the dirt. "It's strange." Kurama's voice came softer than usual. Strange or good, Naruto thought of Konoha, not as a wound this time, as a place that had existed, a place he had loved, a place he had given everything to. He thought of Hinata's hand, Boruto's anger, Himawari's laugh, Shikamaru's sigh. Sasuke's silence, ramen steam, paperwork, sunlight. Then he thought of this world, darkness, stone, iron, Ong's question, Iroh's answer, Lao's cage, Long Feng's offer, the Fire Nation retreat, Kurama still with him, always with him. Naruto exhaled. Both. The earth hummed beneath him. Not with destiny, not with prophecy, not with a demand, just presence. For once, no one was calling his name. No one was asking him to become a symbol. No one was telling him he had to save the world. Behind him, Ba Sing Se stood because he had chosen to act. Ahead of him, the road remained open because he had refused to be owned. Naruto Uzumaki, reborn as Toph Beifong, sat outside the greatest wall in the world and did not build a throne from the metal he had bent. He did not declare himself ruler. He did not become a conqueror. He did not turn victory into empire. He stayed, barefoot on the earth, listening. And in the darkness that had once felt like loss, he finally heard what silence truly was, not emptiness, not loneliness, not weakness. Silence was the earth breathing under him. Silence was Kurama resting without chains. Silence was a city alive behind him. Silence was the absence of anyone demanding he become useful. For the first time across 2 lives, Naruto did not move toward the next battle. He simply remained, and the world, astonishingly, did not end.